Good evening, South Tama Trojan fans. Welcome to Week 3 of the Iowa High School football regular season. I'm Darvin Graham. I'll be joined by a couple of co-hosts here in a few moments, but we're live from STC Trojan Field tonight. South Tama taking on Knoxville in Week 3. Both of these teams looking for their first win on the season, both 0-2. But a few differences between the two squads as well. Knoxville comes in after a pair of 1-point losses, both coming down to the wire. Last week's against Clark of Osceola. That one went into overtime. A high-scoring game, but Knoxville comes out on the losing end again in the second week after a 1-point loss to Boone in their first week. So we are going to see who can come away with things here tonight, and we're excited to have you with us. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by a whole host of local sponsors. We do thank all of these businesses for putting us on the air and supporting us through this fall season. They include Berkwood Village of Tama, Toledo, Salt Creek Wind, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, State Bank of Toledo, S&S Car Wash, Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home, Robach Lumber, Stein Robach Floor Coverings, Medicap Pharmacy, Mark West and Hoyer Law Office, Assured Partners Insurance, Appraisal and Realty Services, Sharn Weber's, TFD Photo and Film, and tonight's broadcast and all of our Trojan Country broadcasts made possible by the Charlie Townsley Memorial. We got a jam-packed pregame show here. It's the Berkwood Village pregame show here on Trojan Country. Thanks to Berkwood Village and all the folks there for their support of us this year as a title sponsor. We're going to get a look at the cross-country season, catch up with Coach Robert Tynisma, get some insights into what's been going on with the cross-country team. You'll hear from him. We'll get a look at the cross-country meet that happened this Tuesday at Grinnell. We'll do a breakdown of both Knoxville and South Tama's season so far, where they have been so far and where they are tonight. Get a look at the two lineups. We'll do your starters. We'll have a Coach's Corner interview with STC head football coach Nate Dorn. During the pregame show, we're also going to hear from some of our cheerleaders. The STC cheer program is just on fire this year, as the numbers and participation have been as well as they have been. I don't want to say historic necessarily, but they have been as strong as we've had in a long time. And so a lot of kids participating. It's been a lot of excitement with the cheer program. We're going to hear from some of those cheerleaders later on in the Berkwood Village pregame show. And then during the Salt Creek Wind halftime show later in the game, we will have an interview with South Tama cross-country runners, Cade Rosenberger and James Brandt. So all kinds of things coming your way. And we're glad you're with us. We are about 50 seconds left to go in this Frosh game. South Tama against Knoxville, the Frosh team dominating against the Panthers. They're up 51-0 here at Trojan Field. And so they're going to go on to the win. Less than a minute left on the clock. And that will be done. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we will hear from STC cross-country coach Robert Tynisma and get you a look at the cross-country team, how they've been doing this season. Thanks for being with us. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Trojan Country. Welcome back live from STC Trojan Field. It's the Berkwood Village pregame show here live on Trojan Country. We're going to talk a little South Tama cross country. The boys team in particular has really been on fire the last couple of years, and they come into their senior season after just narrowly missing the state meet for the very first time in school history. We're maybe just a minute or two away from getting that done at the district meet last year, and they come back with nearly their entire starting roster as seniors now. So this group that's been together for a long time, this is their season, and we're excited to kind of be with them on their journey as they work through the cross-country season this year. But this past week, it was Tuesday, the team was last in action. The boys and girls traveled over to Aaron's Park in Grinnell for the annual Grinnell Invitational. The strange thing about this one was that it took place in the morning due to some expected high heat during the afternoon hours. So they held it around 8:30 in the morning, and they ran it around their usual route there in Aaron's Park. And South Tama came away with a second-place finish behind the Pella Dutch. Pella has been particularly dominant the last few years from the boys' side, and they won the meet with a team score of 18. I think most of their runners finished within the top 20 of their top 6. So South Tama boys finished in second place with a team score of 76. Just kind of going down the roster here, Tommy Tynisma finished in third place with a time of 16:31. James Brandt finished 7th place in this one with a time of 17:31. Sophomore Barrett Jacina finished 19th with a time of 18:28.7. Cade Rosenberger finished 24th with a time of 18:47.9. Senior Holden Shermer finished 35th with a time of 19:14.3. And rounding out the varsity runners, Braxton Roars finished 39th with a time of 19:33.1. He's a senior as well. Other runners on the boys' JV team, Giovanni Perez, Alex Carrera, Amari Chavez, and Raiden Hill each participated. I think they ran one boys race instead of splitting up JV and varsity. They just got them all in the same group and ran it in one race. So congrats to South Tama's boys team for their second place finish over in Grinnell. Over on the girls side, top 5 finishers in the girls race, it was a couple from Pella again. It was Ruth Dunham finishing first with a time of 20.4. Then Autumn Blink, Jada Lyons from Benton Community, and then a couple more, Pella Dutch, Reagan Schneider, and Macy Schroeder round out the top 5. For South Tama, their top finisher was senior Kayla Heck. She finished 32nd with a time of 25:26.5. And then the others running included Andrea Padilla and Jenny Manzo. Padilla finished 63rd. Manzo finished 66th. Next up for the STC cross-country team, they will have their home meet coming up on Monday. That's this Monday, the 11th, beginning at 4:30. Teams in attendance include Baxter, BCLUW, Colo Nesco, East Marshall, Gladbrook, Rhinebeck, Grundy Center, GMG, Grinnell, Meskwaki, North Tama, South Hardin, and West Marshall. And then after that, this coming Saturday, or a week from tomorrow, the team goes to the BCLUW invite at the South Hardin Rec Complex. All right, now we're going to jump into our Coach's Corner with STC head cross-country coach Robert Tynisma. It's time for Cross Country Coach's Corner. I'm joined by STC head cross country coach Robert Tynisma. Robert, we're getting you on a beautiful evening here, just a Thursday night. How you guys doing this week? Kind of getting ready for your home meet coming up here in a little bit.
We're doing very well. Tuesday morning we ran our Grinnell meet. They ran it in the morning due to the heat, and the boys ran pretty well. I mean, Tommy, our top runner, he took off 30 seconds from his Williamsburg time. Jimmy ran the same time. They were our top 2 finishers against Grinnell, a really deep Grinnell team. Or not Grinnell team, sorry, Pella team.
Yeah.
Barrett ran well. He had a PR versus his Williamsburg meet. Cade ran better than he ran at Williamsburg. Nice. He was in a bit better shape there, better fueled. And Holden ran well too. So our top guys are they're doing what they need to be doing at this point. We had a nice hard workout today, a hill workout today on our home course, getting ready for our home meet on Monday.
Yeah, preview that a little bit for us. Any teams of note coming to Tama for that one, and how's that kind of shaping up? Where's it going to happen? Where can fans come out and cheer on the Trojans this Monday?
All right. Well, our home meet is held here at the high school campus, so just come up to the high school, and there's plenty of parking. We have some notable teams coming that are ranked in various divisions. Grundy Center is ranked in, I think, 1A. We got Grinnell coming, and East Marshall ranked in 2A.
Okay,
they're going to be there. So yeah, we got some.
Yeah,
we got some teams to compete against.
Yeah. You guys have been at this course now for a little while? What's kind of the profile of the home course as far as hills and the course profile? How does it look for these runners as they're preparing for it?
Well, from our standpoint, our first couple races we run on pretty flat courses. So when we get to our home meet, which is usually our third or fourth meet of the season, it's a lot tougher with the hills that we have in our course. So the guys aren't necessarily putting up really fast times because of that.
Right.
So, and that's most teams that come here. That's going to be the case because it's probably one of the tougher courses that most teams are going to hit all season.
Rewinding a little bit to that Grinnell meet, kind of a strange turn of events there with the time getting bumped up into the morning. How was it for these kids to run on a weekday so early? Did that disrupt anything for them, or do you feel like they were kind of rolling with the punches?
I think for the most part, we kind of rolled with the punches. We practiced Saturday mornings at 8:30, so from that standpoint, it's very similar.
Yeah.
And then we went Monday morning at 8:30 as a pre-meet thing to get us in that mode of getting up and racing in the morning. Really, what was the downside to that was all of these guys, when they got done running, was having to go back to school.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
And then deal with that
Right.
part. They just weren't physically ready to deal with that going back to school, because all the other races that they ever run, they're done with that stuff.
Yeah. So what time did you guys get back into town, and what time did they kind of have to jump back into the school routine?
We rolled back about 11.
Oh, wow.
And then most of the kids, took the opportunity to go home and get cleaned up, maybe get something to eat, and come back, and they were back for the second half of the day, which was really, with our 7-period day, it's just three periods.
Right. So for Tommy and James, they get a look at the Pella unit as a very dominant team in Class 3A. What was it like for those two guys to kind of race, have that group of Pella runners kind of impacting things? Do you feel like it changes how they approach their race day when they know they've got a team that's pretty dominant ahead of them, or how do they kind of work through that?
I think they don't really change their tactics a lot in those situations. At the Grinnell meet, we had a couple Pella guys, their top two guys that finished, that were just kind of sitting on Tommy for the first 2 miles. It was kind of windy, so they might have drafted a little bit off of him for those first 2 miles, and then they separated in that last mile. And there was maybe a 20, 25 second differential between their finishing and Tommy finishing. Jimmy didn't. He's kind of running alone in his spot. I mean, it's a good barometer to kind of see where we're at. I mean, obviously, we weren't totally 100% fresh due to our training and stuff like that. So our legs weren't totally fresh for that meet, which is what we expect. We're not. Again, we don't want to peak now. We gotta train through some of these meets. We're going to be a little tired on some of these meets, but we'll freshen up the legs when we need to.
Yeah. One thing that kind of stood out just looking at the box score was you guys took I don't want to say a loss, but you were one place behind Williamsburg at their invitational. You get a one place kind of victory over them, second to third here at the Grinnell invite. What do you feel like went different between those two meets?
Well, our one of our top runners, Cade Rosenberger, at the Williamsburg meet, he had some fueling issues.
Got it.
And he faded in that last mile of the race and didn't finish where we would have expected him to finish. And if he had finished there, we would have beaten Williamsburg at that meet there.
Gotcha.
So he did much better at the Pella meet, finished in a better spot, which then put us ahead of Williamsburg from a team standpoint.
Gotcha. And can you just give us a little recap of the girls' action over in Grinnell? How did our girls do over there? And I know it's a smaller group, but just some thoughts about how they're doing.
Well, Kayla Heck's our senior girl varsity runner, and she ran pretty well. It was she was having a little bit of difficulty, but I think some of it is just fuel for them. I had one of the girls that freshman that after mile 1 that again didn't have enough fuel in her body, and
Sure.
she didn't finish the race.
Gotcha.
I've got a couple other girls that are still battling some injuries, some early season knee stuff, soreness that we got to get through. So
Yep.
we didn't run a full squad. Andrea's, she's battling a little bit of a knee thing. She finished the race, but didn't run as well as she's capable of running. And Jenny Manzo, she finished the race again. She was having some fueling issues, and I think for some of those kids with that early morning race time, not knowing, okay, when I get up, how much should I eat?
Right. Yeah.
Prior to that
Yeah,
8:30 and the 9:15 start, so they're still kind of figuring that stuff out.
Right. All right. Well, best of luck to you guys on Monday. We'll be rooting for you here at home, and thanks for the time, Robert.
You're welcome.
Welcome back. We're live in the Burkwood Village pregame show here in Trojan Field. We are about 30 minutes away from kickoff between the South Tama Trojans and the Knoxville Panthers. We're going to jump into a look back at last week, give you some scores from around the area and the district, and then we'll be back with some more pregame action. We'll break down the matchups between South Tama and Knoxville tonight, get a look at the Coach's Corner from Coach Doran, and a lot more. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for being with us here on Trojan Country.
Week 2 around the state of Iowa was as action-packed as ever, with upset wins and heartbreaking losses punctuating the landscape. Top-ranked Williamsburg edged out 4A 7th-ranked Xavier Catholic 21-20 last week. They'll be facing Clear Creek Amana at home tonight. 9th-ranked Benton Community defeated the Marion Wolves 38-7 in Week 2. Tonight they're on the road to take on 2nd-ranked Mount Vernon. Solon bounced back after a Week 1 upset to Assumption Catholic by defeating Clear Creek Amana in a low-scoring 7-3 finish. They'll be up against Central DeWitt at home tonight. In Southern Iowa, the Fairfield Trojans dropped to 1-1 on the season after losing to Fort Madison in Week 2 by a score of 21-14. This week they'll host Washington at home. Over in Poweshiek County, Grinnell, who received votes in the Class 3A AP rankings this week, lost to Bondurant Farrar 40-0 in a blowout loss in Week 2. They'll be facing Oskaloosa on the road tonight. The Charles City Comets secured a win against South Tama last week, 16-7. This week they'll be up against Waterloo East over in Waterloo, while South Tama hosts the Knoxville Panthers. Knoxville ended both Week 1 and Week 2 with losses by a single point. Last Friday it was a heartbreaker for the Panthers, who lost 41-40 against Clark of Osceola. Center Point Urbana lost their second straight low-scoring battle to Anamosa in Week 2 by a score of 10-7. The Storm and Pointers look to rebound this week as they host the Jessup Jayhawks. Roland Story, who also received votes in the Associated Press Class 2A rankings this week, lost to 3A third-ranked Nevada last Friday, 42-7. They'll be facing 5th-ranked South Hamilton in Class 1A action at home. First-ranked Grundy Center defeated Appleton Parkersburg 31-7 last Friday. They'll be up against 8th-ranked Pella Christian in a battle of 1A ranked teams over in Grundy Center tonight. Independence last week took on Crestwood. It was 10th-ranked 3A. Independence defeating the Cadets 39-13 in Week 2. Tonight, Independence plays walk-on the road. Union Community lost to 2nd-ranked Mount Vernon in Week 2, 33-0. They'll be facing the West Delaware Hawks tonight over in LaPorte City. North Tama lost 22-20 to Nashua Plainfield, who received votes in the Class A Associated Press poll this week. Tonight, the Red Hawks will be up against AGWSR at the friendly confines of Dennis Field over in Traer. East Marshall last week lost to Sadell 35-18. They're taking on Eddyville Blakesburg Fremont on the road tonight. In Eastern Iowa's own Alphabet Bowl, BCLUW fell short last week against AGWSR with a score of 26-15. This week they'll be facing Nashua Plainfield at home. Belle Plaine, meanwhile, received votes in Class 8-man. They dominated Melcher Dallas with a score of 92-6 last week. Tonight they're taking on Moravia at home. First-ranked Gladbrook Rhinebeck over in Class 8-player dominated Tripola 78-0 in Thursday night action last week. They'll be taking on the Meskwaki Settlement Warriors over at Meskwaki Settlement High School tonight. The GMG Wolverines were one among a handful of lucky teams that got to play on Thursday night last week due to a shortage of officials. The Wolverines took the loss 54-20 and go to 0-2 on the season. This week the Wolverines take on Dunkerton at home. And finally, Marshalltown lost to Cedar Rapids Jefferson 40-0 on the road last week. This week the Bobcats celebrate their opening of the brand new football stadium with a home opener game against Davenport North. And that'll do it for the Week 2 football roundup here on Trojan Country.
Welcome back live to Trojan Field. It's Week 3 of the Iowa High School football season. Thank you for being with us here on Trojan Country. We've got South Tama and Knoxville action coming your way here in just under 30 minutes. I'm Darvin Graham. I'm joined by two wonderful co-hosts today. I've got George Cuter and Nate Van Dyke up here in the booth. How you doing today, guys?
Wonderful. Great, thank you, Darvin.
Yeah, give us a little bit. We haven't talked to you in a couple weeks. Since I got a middle school guy and a high school guy, I just like to get a little temperature check. How's things at the middle school? How's things at the high school?
Things at the middle school are still pretty warm.
Toasty?
A little bit toasty. Not like everybody else in the district. We had a brutal start to our week with the temps up. Most rooms were up in the 80s, and when you're unfortunately on the third floor and the air conditioner is not working, it kind of gets kind of cranky with the kids.
And you're helping out with you're coaching middle school football this year, right, George?
7th grade football.
How are things with the middle school program?
We got off to a good start in the 8th grade level last night. We took it on the chin with the 7th grade level, but the kids, the one thing about it is the kids are learning the system, and that's a big. You're going to hopefully see a big improvement before Tuesday's game with everybody, but the kids are learning. We had of our starters last night, 7 of them haven't played football before, so we're getting them introduced to the game. And it's going to be okay. We just want to keep the kids out, and we want to keep them healthy, we want to just positive attitude to keep them up at the varsity level.
And then Nate, how's things going over at the high school?
I'm kind of on an island at the high school, and sometimes I like that, but it has its drawbacks as well. But on my, I see Mrs. Kiana in the gym, and I'm taking my class down for strength and conditioning each period, and doing my thing. But I've been impressed this week. I think we've, at least on my end, kids have been doing pretty well. It's not the easiest thing in the world to get 15 through 18-year-olds to move and be active. So I think they've been doing a great job for me in the strength and conditioning side. We timed some 40-yard dashes today.
Nice.
And I had 100% participation there and good effort. So it's going pretty well on my end. I'd say it's one of the better weeks we've had.
All right, and who's going to do the Knoxville lineup? Who's going to do South Tama lineup? I don't want to throw it to the wrong person.
Do first?
Let's do Knoxville first. So tell us about what you know about this Knoxville team, and then let's go through the starters for the Knoxville Panthers tonight.
Looking at Knoxville's past results, they're kind of an interesting team, being they're 0-2, but they've lost by a total of 2 points. So they're about 2 points away from being 2-0. Week 1, they lost to Boone 14-15 in a low-scoring battle, and then last week they took a lump to Clark in a shootout, 40-41. Now I don't know how good Boone and Clark are, but you got to think they're hungry to get a win there.
Right.
That way, the other thing that kind of struck me about them was their looks like they're a little bit pass heavy. They have a couple quarterbacks. One's thrown for a couple 100 yards, and the other one's over 100 yards, and they've got 3 receivers that are close to 100 yards receiving as well. They've got 2 over 100 yards, and their 3 receivers got 94 yards receiving as well. So they strike me as kind of a passing team, and that can make for kind of a fun, interesting game. As far as starters go, offensively for Knoxville, number 5, Noah Kiefer starts at quarterback. He's a senior. At running back, number 15, Hayden Willoughby, a senior. The other running back is number 22, Rylan Robinson, a junior. At receivers, they have Jay Keller, number 14. He's a senior. And Max Magana, number 16. He's a junior. At tight end, they have number 82, Kobe Higginbotham, who's a junior. Up front for the Panthers, at center, George Gilbert. At right guard, Christian Breda. At left guard, number 64, Jaden Montalvo, who's a senior. At right tackle, number 77, Jack Bertrand, a senior. And at left tackle, number 57, Spencer Van Howen, who's a senior as well. Defensive starters for the Knoxville Panthers include defensive end, number 77, Jack Bertrand, senior. Defensive tackles are number 57, Spencer Van Howen, and number 53, David Gorskick. The other defensive end is Ruger Kendall, number 47, a junior. Their linebacking crew includes Cale Kincaid, number 9, number 52, Tice Hauk, number 16, Max Magana. And their defensive backfield includes cornerbacks Noah Kiefer, number 5, number 15, Hayden Willoughby, number 14, Jay Keller, and rounding out, number 22, Rylan Robinson.
All right, so that's a look at the Knoxville Panthers. Really interesting situation they find themselves with those 2 1-point losses. Be interesting to see what we see from them tonight. And I'm going to toss it over to George. Tell us a little bit about the South Tama Trojans team coming into Week 3.
Well, coming into Week 3, we had kind of two different South Tama teams. They took their lumps against Roland Story, which is a very good team, 40-0, but came back and bounced up against a team that they competed against last week in Charles City, losing 16-7. It was an interesting game from the aspect of the kids had to learn how to play without Gavin Bridgewater, which puts a lot of pressure on the rest of your starters. Which they're going to learn. They're going to have to some of the things. The key things that I saw is that they're going to have to learn how to adapt, and they kind of showed that adaptation in the second half last week, where they didn't. They kind of came flat out, and our big stud guy is out. They kind of grinded it out, scored some plays. They looked good and looked bad. Looked good on some series, looked bad on some series, but it wasn't. It's everything. I'm sure Coach Doran and everybody has kind of adapted to that situation, but and you got to find your weapons. Daniel, it's going to be up to Daniel Weiss, our quarterback. He's has only thrown for 59 yards. Has 11 completions, but with Bridgewater back there, you really didn't have to count on the pass that much. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So he's kind of growing in. He's going to have to grow into his own with Daniel Weiss. One running back is going to be Kinzer Jeanette. The other is going to be Cody Blocker. They're not having the greatest seasons, with 1 carry for Kinzer and 16 carries for Cody, and not a lot of yards being gained there. But that's going to be all on the offensive line to protect those guys and make some holes open, because they're going to be the workhorses here. They're going to make sure that things are going on. And if Daniel Weiss does he has to throw the ball. He's got Chase Gustafson and Tyrus Clegg, who are having decent seasons. So yardage-wise, they're not having great seasons. But you've got to realize that they also are not going to be throwing the ball a lot. Those first 2 games, coming out in the second half, is where they got most of their yards and most of their positive yards. I should say that. Tight end Jeremy Dolash is going to have he's a senior. He's 3-year starter. He's got 4 receptions, 29 yards. He's He's the better receiver. He's a nice big tight end, so he's going to be blocking, and we're going to count on him to be catching some passes if we have to throw the ball.
He was a really big target for Weiss last week in the second half,
right.
And he was looking him all the time.
And he's just, he's grown into a big, strong kid, and he can take some people with him. And
he got the touchdown pass.
Yes, he did. He got the touchdown pass there. But our center's going to be Miguel Medina, our guards are Wyatt Sermon and Kyan McBride, and then our tackles are going to be Keaton Sokol and Josh Stull. On defense, we've got the big two up front in the middle, Juan Robles and Marty Garcia, both topping out at 300 pounds, and they're just going to have to penetrate. You know, with the team, at the size of the team we've got, we can't be subbing in a lot of different guys. So Marty and Juan are going to have to carry the brunt share of it. Defensive ends, we've got two really good athletes, Kyan McBride and Jeremy Dolash. We're going to have Kyan had one tackle for loss, and they've just got to seal up the middle. Our inside linebackers, Miguel Medina and Josh Youngbear. Our outside linebacker is going to be Kinzer Jeanette. Chase Gustafson, defensive back with Cody Blocker, Tyrus Clegg at safety, and Daniel Weiss. Again, he's not going to see much time off the field, so he's going to have to actually step it up and lead on the defensive side, starting at strong safety. Special teamers, Adrian Valles having a pretty decent season as punter and kicker. And then kick returns, Tyrus Clegg, Cody Blocker, and the punt returner is going to again be Tyrus Clegg. But one of the big things that we have to focus on with South Tama is just adapting to not having Gavin Bridgewater here to carry the brunt load. Everybody's going to have to spread it out, and we're just going to have to come after Knoxville. They're going to score a lot of points, and we just have to slow them down and make sure that they don't get too far ahead of us.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. We're going to jump to a quick break. When we get back, we're going to hear from some of our cheerleaders from the STC Varsity Cheer Squad. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for being with us. All right, welcome back live from the STC Roundhouse. It is the Burkwood Village pregame show. We are just about 10 minutes away from kickoff. Today, I'm joined by three of our varsity cheerleaders from the football squad. Girls, thank you so much for being with us. I'm going to have you introduce yourself. Go ahead and say your name, your grade, and a little bit about your cheerleading background. How many seasons you've been with the football squad, or if you've done other different cheerleading activities as well. Go ahead and take it away.
Hi, my name's Jennifer.
Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. There we go. All right, you're on.
Hi, my name's Journey Verdula, and I have been a football cheerleader for 3 years and a wrestling cheerleader for 2.
All right, next.
Hi, I'm Mayla Kebach. I'm a junior. I'm going into my 3rd year of football cheer, and I'm 1 year in for wrestling.
Hello, I am Sophia Vanuel. I'm a junior, and this is my second year in football cheer.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so we've got a ton of participation with this football squad this year. You guys have a freshman team, 2 different coaches working with you. What has been the atmosphere like just having a big group of cheerleaders out kind of pumping up the program? What's that felt like from your perspective?
It's felt amazing. I love how many people we have. We can do more stunts. We can do more cheers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of what Journey said. I really enjoy that we have a squad for Frosh, especially since we're having a pretty good season, and I just love how they're entertaining the crowd as well.
Yeah, like it's so nice having a bigger squad, and everybody communicates, and it's just really awesome.
Does it change the practice environment at all when you're working on stunts and having more people around? Does that impact that aspect at all?
Yeah, it does help a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about some of the stunts that you guys are working on. I know that's a big part of cheerleading and kind of working up to more acrobatic things, more airborne stuff. What have you guys been working on, and how has that developed so far in this first few weeks of the season?
We've definitely gotten a lot further this season than we have in like previous seasons.
Yeah.
Like we're working on new stunts for each week, bring something new every Friday. This week we're going to be bringing cradles.
Nice.
We have cradles, we're doing show and goes, we're doing new cheers. We just have a lot more to offer each and every week.
Good deal. Any thoughts about stunts? I don't want to cut you off there.
I think we're doing great, honestly. We're really pushing ourselves, and having as many people as we have, it's great.
Yeah.
You can do a lot more with everyone.
Yep. Tell us a little bit about the youth camp that's coming up. We got a lot of young cheerleaders out here on the field as well. Tell us a little bit about some of the work you're going to do with our young kids here coming up. When is that happening? How's it going to work, and so on?
So basically today we had our cheerleaders, our little kid cheerleaders,
Yeah.
and they have been great. Teaching them was so much fun. We taught them 4 different cheers. They were all brand new,
Yeah.
so it was a great learning experience for everyone.
How were they in the room? I know sometimes you get a lot of little kids and it can get a little squirrely. How did that go for you guys?
Pretty good,
Yeah.
honestly.
They were excited to be there?
Yeah.
Nice. What are you looking forward to? You got several weeks of the football season. What do you enjoy most about football cheer, and what are you looking forward to the rest of this year?
I'm looking forward to stunting and cheering more with my new squad mates.
I'm super excited for our homecoming routine with a whole different squad, a bigger squad. I'm really excited to have more stunts, to have a way better routine than we have in previous years, especially with our numbers.
Yep. All right. Okay, girls, thank you so much for the time. Best of luck to you the rest of this season. We'll be rooting for you up here in the press box, and good luck pumping up the crowd tonight.
Thank you.
All right, that was South Tama Varsity Cheerleaders. Thanks for being with us here on Trojan Country. We'll be right back after a short break. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
What's up? That's fine. No, don't worry about it. I don't care. I was figuring we weren't going to have George, so that's... Yeah, with the clipboards, yeah. Okay, that's fine. Totally fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, just do whatever's comfortable, I guess.
It's week 3 for the STC Trojans, and it's time for Coach's Corner. I'm joined, as always, by STC head football coach Nate Doran. Nate, we're catching you after practice. How you doing today?
Well, thank you very much. Well,
gotta feel good getting the temperatures down a little bit. That heat we've had the last couple of weeks really feels nice out here. How's practice been going for you guys just this week, getting ready for Knoxville?
It's good. I would say we've had a really good practice. I thought tonight, actually Thursday, was one of our better practices we've had as a Thursday night practice. I mean, it seemed like we were more prepared, we were more efficient. It seemed like we were in better spirits, and I think weather might have a lot to do with that.
I'd like to talk a little bit about looking at week 1 to week 2. Difficult finishes in both games, but I want to see if you can pull out maybe the growth that's happened from week 1 to week 2 and just how the two games compared in your perspective.
I would definitely say week 1, like I said, we are the deer in the headlights. You know, we've got a lot of kids that haven't played football before at all, or maybe haven't played since their freshman year. So that first game, you know, Varsity, the tone and the physicality and the fastness of Varsity, they had to prepare for that. And it took us a good half just to kind of get acclimated to that. This last week down at Charles City, you know, we took a long drive, and I thought our kids came out quick. We played defense. We got a good 3 and out right away. They were ready to go. Offense, we kind of got things going. We made a couple mistakes here with penalties, but kids knew what they were doing. The biggest thing I think that we really found from week 1 to week 2 was a quarterback. I mean, Daniel really shined, I thought, especially in the second half of our game, and he stepped up as a leader and a real quarterback.
Can you talk a little bit about the growth of your defense, maybe even on the line or in the backfield, some standout performances that you've seen from the defensive side so far?
Yeah, obviously Gavin Bridgewater, he's a guy that we've rotated all over the place. He plays anywhere. He's a coach on the field. So he really stepped up for us. I mean, he had 10 tackles in the first half.
Yeah.
Then Cayenne McBride really stepped up. We moved him from that inside linebacker to that defensive end position. And that was a position he's more comfortable with anyways. We tried something new. So he really set right back into where he took off last year, and that really helped us. Jeremy Dolash really held down the other side of the end and did a great game. Daniel Weiss, I thought, had a good job at that corner position. Tyrus Clegg, I thought, stepped up. And then Cody Blocker had some fantastic open field tackles. So, I mean, in our interior D-line, Juan, we got Marty Garcia in there. Not really hasn't played football since 8th grade. That's really acclimating and getting involved. So defensively, I think we're starting to get our feet wet. We're starting to get comfortable, and is it going to be leading to good things, we hope.
One thing that really stuck out to me was how scrappy a lot of the D-backs were against mismatched receivers. Looking at some of the 6'6", 6'3", and we give up a couple inches when you think about Clegg and Weiss and some of our defensive backs. Yet they're getting hands on the ball. They're being active in the backfield. How are you kind of working with them, knowing that maybe they're going to go out in most weeks and have to play against kids that are a lot taller and longer than them?
That's exactly it. They know it. I mean, they know it. It's not going to change. You can't be 5'11" one week and then 6'4" the next week. So he knows where he's going to be and where his mismatches are. But especially Tyrus Clegg. I mean, he's aggressive in his situation. He's smart like a cat. I mean, the kid knows how to get in there. Cody Blocker is one of those guys that he just understands the game right now, and he does a fantastic job of making tackles. Guys playing in the right positions. That comes with paying attention at practice, watching film, doing game study and all that kind of stuff. And the biggest thing, man, that I said last week, I'll never, ever doubt this team's heart and this team's character. These kids fight to the very end, and they want to be out there, and they're giving it everything they got.
Trojans get their first touchdown this past week. A nice pitch and catch there between Weiss and Dolash. And it seemed like you guys were going back to Dolash throughout the second half a little bit, just trying to get that connection going. What does he bring at that tight end position to this STC offense?
He does a lot. If you see Dolash, he looks like a football player. I mean, he's put together well. He's got the height. He's got the ability. He can jump out of the building. And we're going to finally use him in the right ways. I think we use him as a tight end. Normally at that position, I think getting him out in space, he's able to use his body a lot more. And I think that Daniel and Dolash connection is something we can see quite a bit throughout the year.
We saw Gavin Bridgewater go out of the game last week, and clearly had an impact. How did things change for the team, and how are you where does he sit this week headed into the Knoxville matchup?
Yeah, we're still up and down with Gavin. We'll find out more tomorrow officially. But Gavin, man, he's a leader regardless of he's on the field or off the field. He ran scout team defense for us this week. He knew everything was going on. He watched film. He told everywhere where to go. He wasn't physically in practice with us in uniform, but he was definitely involved heavily. He kept his team going. He's a true leader, man. The kid is a leader, and he's going to continue to impact this team, whether the situation is what it is, and we'll find out more of that. He's just one of those guys that the kids follow and they listen.
Can you give us any more action on the injury report this week? You got any other kids that'll be out, or you guys outside of potentially with Bridgewater, anything else going on?
Other than that, no, we're still 18 strong as of right now.
Awesome. And then can you talk a little bit about our practice captains for this week, who they are, what they've been doing to kind of earn that honor?
Yeah, Kinzer is a junior for us this year. He plays he doesn't come off the field. He's one of those kids that just has a motor and goes and gives you 100%. He can be a little mouthy. He can be a little irritating at times, but that's what we like about Kinzer. He's a scrapper. He's one of those guys that you definitely want to be in an alley with him if you ever get in a tussle. And then Jeremy Dolash, he just led this week. He had a great practice. I think getting him involved last week in the offense and him getting that touchdown, it just boosted his confidence. He had 10 tackles last week as well. So I think he realizes, I can do this. And he stepped up big time this week. So we gave him practice captains to both them young men.
We get Knoxville this week. We haven't seen the Panthers in a few years, but you've coached against them not that long ago. What do you know about this Knoxville team? What's kind of the scouting report against Knoxville?
They're kind of like us, the numbers aren't always the best, but they have a lot of scrappy kids that do a lot. They make plays. They're well coached. They want to be out there. They're scrappy football players. So, it's going to be a scrappy game. That when you got two teams like that, when they're scrapping for guys for playing time and, and guys are going both ways, and it's going to be a fight. And they spread it out a lot more than they have in the past, maybe this year, but they got some weapons all over the field. So we've got to definitely, on the defensive end, we got to pay attention to where everybody's at. And then on defense, they give you mix and match looks. They walk guys up. They put 7 in the box. They put 8 in the box, 9 in the box. They run some man-to-man, some over-the-top zone. So they're going to mix it up, and they're going to give us a good look, and they're going to be a tough team that we have to step up and, do well to play.
All right. Well, thanks as always for the time, Coach. We'll be rooting for the Trojans on Friday, and thanks again.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we're back live from the STC Trojan Field during the Berkwood Village pregame show. Just moments away from kickoff here. Some initial thoughts here, gentlemen, as we're getting ready for kickoff between this matchup. What are you kind of keys to victory tonight for South Tama?
I think the keys to victory for South Tama is just adapting to not having Gavin out there. He's still going to be a force, according to what we just heard. He's still going to be a force out there. He's going to be kind of a coach on the field, or kind of another assistant coach watching what's going on. But he'll be able to see the field and get going with that. And South Tama is just going to have to grind it out. They're going to have to find some weapons, and they're just going to have to keep going back to those kids that can produce for them.
I think defensively for South Tama, if Knoxville is going to sit back and try to throw the ball, the first step is to be able to put a little pressure on the quarterback, and that's been Bridgewater coming off the edge. Coach Doran likes to stun him, send him on blitzes. He has 2 sacks on the season and just a bunch of solo tackles. So we need Jeremy Dolash to step up as a D and Kyan McBride to get his motor going early, and then guys like Kinzer, Jeanette to have a big game. I don't think anybody's going to be Gavin Bridgewater to replace him out there. He's such a big athlete, but we need a kind of a cooperative
composite. Yeah.
Exactly. Defensive backs wise, I know they moved Gustafson from linebacker to defensive back to help on the passing side this week. So
some speed on the outside. With
that can come into play. You've got Weiss at a defensive back blocker and Clegg. So
we got Connor Willis getting ready for kickoff here. Looks like he's having a little trouble with the tee. Maybe I'm not quite sure, but deep back for the Trojans. So with Bridgewater on the sidelines, going to be several positions kind of having to rotate in. It's going to be Cody Blocker and Tyrus Clegg. So Blocker getting the return nod, and we are underway.
Kick goes to Clegg. He's going to take it right up the middle, lit up there by Blocker. Decent yards out to about the 31.
And that's the kind of effort you're going to have to see from the whole team, where you just put your head down and run and do what you're supposed to do. It's going to be I think it's going to be a grinded out.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more Cody Blocker. Hopefully we can get him on the outside.
Exactly.
We're going to see more Kinzer Jeanette in the backfield with Bridgewater out as well.
I think if we can get Cody and Kinzer moving, in the right direction, and we get him on the outside, he can use his speed, because I don't know that there's anybody faster on our team.
So we come out and trips right. Looks like a pistol look. We've got Weiss with blocker behind him.
Weiss looking to throw. Dolash across the middle.
Has him.
Connects.
Nice. Get going.
Nice run after the catch by Dolash.
Wow.
Jeremy Dolash streaks across the 50-yard line and into Panthers territory. South Tama would love to get a quick start here. It's been slow going in the first half for South Tama. The third quarter has been where we've seen the most productive offense and defense, and here we are already in Panther territory.
Exactly.
Great start. Dolash started as the wide guy and just ran a slant right across the middle.
They had to kind of reach to grab the ball, but that'll get back there. It's
back to a pistol.
Again.
It's a quick screen to Clegg. Clegg's got a little green, and he's going to pick up what, 6-7 yards?
7 yards.
Okay, Weiss got the ball out of his hand pretty quick there.
I think that's
flipped the field. He looked like a second baseman out there,
right.
Shortstop.
Just whipping it around, yeah.
Looks like he was turning two up the middle.
That's what you're going to. I think that's what it's probably is the biggest part of the game plan is get rid of the ball quickly.
Second and short on the 36-yard line.
Trips right for Weiss. He's got blocker right behind him in the pistol set. Again, he's going to drop back to pass. He's got Clegg.
Clegg almost had it.
Another screen in and out of Clegg's hands. Maybe heard a little footsteps there. He had number 9, K.O. Kincaid bearing down on him. But not a bad start for the Trojans.
No, not at all. And the key, like you said, Coach, that's the key, is to get off to a quick start and make everything, just get everything moving in the right direction. Get Knoxville back, maybe just stun them a little bit and see what's going to happen. But I'm afraid that little confusion here coming out of the huddle. Okay, we'll see what happens here.
Third down after the incompletion.
Looks like trips to the left, blocker again behind Weiss.
Oh, you calling it?
A little audible?
Yeah, a little bit of an
pressure coming. Weiss will go down.
That's it.
That was Kincaid again.
Yep.
And it looked like Weiss changed something at the line, possibly.
He changed something at the line, and it kind of confused the. I think it kind of confused the line.
I think so.
Because they didn't block the right guy. Kincaid came in and sacked him.
4th and 14 now for the Trojans.
We have to limit that damage from those losses.
So I'm expecting to see Valle come in.
Yeah, it's been Valle punting and kicking.
And this is his 9th punt of the season, I think. So he's getting plenty of action this season. Averages, 27 yards a punt?
About that. And that's pretty good average in high school. He bombed a couple against Roland Story. There you go.
Yeah, that's a
nice
good one. It's even got a little spiral to it.
Yep. Just get away from it. There you go.
So kind of goes dead.
Trojans down it inside the Knoxville red zone.
Gustafson, Clegg, and Blocker down there to down the ball, and Gustafson will down it. So I'm kind of excited to see what this offense looks like. See if they're just going to sit back and pass, or...
And it'll be quarterback Noah Kiefer, under center for the Panthers.
And I really think that Knoxville can come out just with their experienced juniors and seniors guys, and they can pretty much do anything they need to do. Putting up 40 points in a high school football game.
Little sneaky handoff there on the first down.
Yep. So it's pretty much a spread look. They went trips to the right, one receiver to the left, no tight end, just 5 up front.
Setting up second down, 2nd and 6 here for the Panthers.
Sorry. They're going to feature Kiefer at quarterback here. He's going to turn and throw a quick screen.
That's Rylan Robinson catching the screen.
Pretty much the same play as Weiss threw to Clegg in the last drive.
Third and 7 still for Knoxville here. South Tama would love to have a third down conversion.
We've got Marty Garcia in there, Juan Robles right in the middle. Looks like Kyan McBride as a defensive end over there. McBride led the team in tackles last week, I believe.
Yeah, he's had a decent season so far.
Spread trips to the right.
Kiefer.
And he's got quite a bit of time here.
Looking deep.
And he's got wide open.
And that's Magana.
Max Magana, all the way into the end zone.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it looked like Clegg slipped a little bit there.
Yeah, he did.
But I think he might have been already beat.
I think he was already
by
beat.
a couple steps. So we force them to 3rd and 7 and then catch a big one over the top. But just giving him too much time there.
Yeah. It was about 46 yards on that one. He just kind of just waited and just waited underneath the ball. It wasn't that impressive, but if that's what Knoxville is going to do to you and just kind of lull you to sleep a little bit, then you could be in trouble. I can see where they can put up 40-some-odd points tonight.
Connor Willis to kick the PAT.
Oh,
it's a fake.
Fire.
And it looks like Dolash in there quick, and then McBride finishes him off.
Yeah.
So maybe add a little excitement for the Trojans there. Going back to McBride, I've been impressed with him this year. I've got him in class. He's just excited to do just about everything. He's been a great leader. So.
Yeah. Well, his senior year, he's going in. I know he's getting some looks from some smaller schools. They, kind of turned him into a linebacker a little bit with his speed. But I think you're right. He's just he's grown into the position. He hasn't been hit. Nothing's been handed to him. He's working really, really, really hard.
Multi-sport athlete, he's a baseball player.
Yeah, he's a baseball player, football player. And I don't know if he doesn't wrestle, does he?
No.
Okay.
He did his freshman year. Now I'm kind of we're kind of looking at that heavyweight position out there.
There you go. Now we're talking.
Got to sort some things up yet.
He's a big, strong kid too.
Yeah,
and that's the nice thing about it.
Yeah, I had him out for wrestling as a freshman, and I think he'd done a little bit of it in middle school and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got Clegg and Blocker back to receive the kick here for a second time.
And so South Tama will get another crack at it. And it really fairly successful first drive. Got down the field and then got stopped up kind of in the middle of Panther territory. And Knoxville sneaks one in, and they're leading 6-0. Here's Connor Willis lining up for the kick.
Now Willis going to have somebody hold on to it for him after that first boot.
And here's Clegg again on the return, straight up the middle, led by Blocker. Dolash throwing a block, and Clegg with a little
moving ground.
He's out down around the 40.
Gets his way all the way up to the 39.
He's another one of those sneaky fast kids. He's smaller.
I've seen him do some really incredible stuff on the baseball field out in the outfield. Just really athletic. Big weapon for South Tama. Little undersized, but makes up for it with his speed
and toughness.
Yep.
And he's a smart kid too, so he's going to be able to outthink you on the football field and on the baseball field.
So here's Weiss in the shotgun. He's got trips to his right. He's going to turn and flip it to Clegg on a quick screen. Clegg makes one miss, gain of 4.
Yeah, about 4 yards. And that's what I think that we're just going to have to fall in love with that.
I don't mind getting the ball out in space to some of your athletes.
No. And then
we haven't seen a run yet. Maybe that sets up the run. Usually the run is going to set up your pass, right? But maybe we're working in reverse there. Yeah.
Weiss will run the play on as we've got just over 8 minutes to go left in this first quarter.
Lull them to sleep a little bit and just pound it at them maybe.
Mm-hmm. Trips to the left. You've got Gus and Clegg and Jeanette over on the left, and you got Dolash off to the right. Blocker lines up next to Weiss.
Oh,
there's an ISO. Quarterback ISO.
Big block there for Daniel Weiss.
2 stiff arms by Weiss.
First down.
Okay, so Weiss is going to be a little physical. We've got one run in the books, and it's a quarterback ISO. Now, I don't know if that's a giveaway, but Blocker kind of moved up next to Weiss that time.
Right.
Well, looking at my stat sheet, I got Daniel Weiss as our leading rusher for the season.
He is now.
And he is now.
Because what, did Bridgewater have just a few more yards than him coming in?
I think so. I'm pretty
close.
Just based on that, last week Bridgewater's numbers were not, and I think some of those were negative yards, and it kind of shot himself.
I'd like to see Cody Blocker get a few decent runs in here tonight.
Yeah, just get him to the outside so he can clear everything out.
We've got Jeanette in motion.
Oh, there it is.
And it looks like a quarterback trap, maybe, ISO.
It's Weiss, the ball carrier again.
And he's getting
short gain.
Yeah, I'm liking this.
He muscles his way through, and good-looking game plan here from the South Tama offense. This is the most kind of penetration we've seen week 1 to week 3.
Right. And I think that's the key is you're going to have to put it in your athlete's hands here. And you got Kinzer Jeanette in motion, and he's blocking. He's going to open up a couple of holes for you because he is a good, tough kid.
Scrapper.
Yep.
Okay, here's Medina going up to snap the ball. Dolash to the right, and Weiss has trips to the left. Blocker lined up in the
2nd and 6 for Weiss and the Trojans.
Something open there, and Kyra's Clegg in the flat. Right there.
He
right
looks
there.
to
Look
Clegg.
and see him. Look and see him.
And it's
There
Jeanette.
it is.
Kinzer Jeanette
Jeanette finds a
doubles back.
cutback. He's got to protect that ball.
Jeez, Louise.
And Jeanette makes 2 or 3 miss out there in space. Okay, so we've Dolash has touched the ball. Clegg's touched the ball. Weiss has had a couple runs.
And so South Tama in the first quarter rising to the occasion with the absence of one of their captains, Gavin Bridgewater. Trojans looking focused so far.
But I think we do. You're right, Coach. He's got to tuck that ball in and run. Once he grabs it, he's got to.
Somebody's going to knock that thing out of there if he's swinging it around there.
Can't carry it like a loaf of bread. And
he might not have touched the ball much. Here's blocker in space. He's got
there
the edge.
Cody
Nice
blocker.
block by Gustafson on the edge.
Nice shot. Picks up about 6. We like to see that.
One of the better runs we've seen from Cody Blocker in the run game.
Yep.
Well, just getting him outside and getting that block and getting him outside, and if you got somebody in front of him, he's going to pick up positive yards. Like I say, he hasn't had a whole lot of positive yards this year because he's had some pretty big losses on his.
So South Tama goes trips to the short side. I say trips, but Jeanette's really like a little wing back in there. Looks to the single receiver side.
To Dolash. Dolash gets brought down.
Fumble.
And
incomplete pass.
He caught it coming over the middle, and I was almost thinking he was down and then dropped the ball.
Ref calls it incomplete.
They called it incomplete. I think he never really – he was kind of juggling a little bit.
Yeah.
Which saves us.
Yeah, I would rather take that than
exactly.
Than a turnover.
It saves us, and you don't want to turn it over because they're moving the ball extremely well. And anything right now, anything negative can happen. If it does happen to them, that's kind of a setback. And as long as we got the momentum moving forward, we may as well start using it. And I can see right now probably just taking Daniel, calm everybody down, run him right up the middle.
3rd and 2 for Weiss. Quarterback
Looking at the
There it is.
ISO again, right behind blocker. Weiss is just keeping those legs churning.
Yes, he is.
And it looks like some of the front guys for South Tama are kind of getting to that second level, getting to some linebackers. You've got a couple guys out wide. You've got Dolash throwing a few good blocks and Gustafson throwing a few good blocks on the previous play.
And the nice thing that's nice about it's 4, 5, 6, 7 yards, but they're not panicking. They're not getting in a situation where they have to do something on 3rd down in order to get the first down. They're just chopping away, little chunky stuff.
Weiss in the shotgun. He's going to run the ball. Finds a nice little cut back in there, but not going to get too much going on.
We're going to give him +1 just because he's got the effort going down there. And I do like this, and I don't think this is something that it doesn't look like Knoxville has prepared for this.
No.
It might one of those things they may have to adjust at the quarter.
So I don't know if they're respecting Tyrus Clegg out there. When he goes into that trips, they're not bringing a linebacker out there.
No.
Maybe they're taking away the slant from him, but they're not close to him. We could hit him on one of those quick screens and make one guy miss. And
well, even a down and out towards the quarter in the end zone. If Daniel can get it there, I think Tyrus he can go up and get it.
He's got the time. See, they've got number 9, but he's not really respecting Clegg.
No, he's not.
2nd and 10 here for the Trojans.
He's kind of just giving him a glance.
Weiss flips it to blocker on the outside.
See?
So the defensive end did a nice job for Knoxville on contain there.
Right.
And forced blocker back to the inside where all the white jerseys are.
Tackled for a loss. Blocker unable to break through, and that'll bring up 3rd and long.
With a head of steam, I think with a head of steam, Cody Blocker is going to be able to get out. But if you have to do that stopping and dancing and trying to get away from people, he would not. He's not that type of a runner. If he needs to get a full head of steam. He's just like a guy coming out of the blocks. Once he gets going, let him go.
And you can't dance 3 yards in the backfield either.
No, he's not going to, because I don't think our linemen are going to be able to hold off their defensive line.
Knoxville's got a bunch of guys in the box here.
Wow.
I don't see a linebacker out there, but they've got 4 defensive backs. They probably manned up.
There it is.
Nice little slant to Dolash again. Protect the ball. 2 hands on it.
Yep.
Dolash gets brought down.
That's some back.
Near the 15.
So I don't think we're going to kick a field goal here, are we?
I wouldn't.
4th and 6.
I wouldn't. But how much confidence do you have? You know what?
I don't know if we. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we've got Valle in there.
We've got Valle in.
Yeah, he's in.
Okay.
So Adrian Valle will attempt his first field goal of this season.
Put the points up on the board. What I was going to say is it wouldn't really hurt you if you turned the ball over here. It'd be more like a punt, but
You'd have good field position, right?
Exactly.
You're playing the long game there.
Yep.
Valle.
And there it is. It's
just wide at the distance.
Yep.
The kick by Valle is no good. And we'll go back to the drawing board. South Tama making progress in each drive, but yet to find the end zone. The defense is going to have to kind of step up here and hold off Knoxville just to keep giving their offense.
Mm-hmm. I like the aggressiveness on that. Wanting to get the points. You just have something come out. Have something come out of what you've done.
Yep.
Put some points on the board, because I think this one, as the game starts to grind down, Knoxville can put some kids in there, and they've got a lot of good, speedy receivers to get the ball to.
1st and 10 for the Panthers with 3 minutes left in the first quarter, deep in their own territory.
Here's a handoff just off the left side, off tackle.
That was number 15, Hayden Willoughby, the ball carrier. He had a big game last week against Clark, over 100 yards. And McBride with the tackle.
I don't see weights on the roster I'm looking at, but
No.
Willoughby's not a big kid, it doesn't look like.
No, they didn't put any in. Even on bound, they didn't put any weights on. But they don't look like they're huge.
Willoughby's got 3 touchdowns, but he's only ran for 31 yards on the season, so he might be a
So he's going to be kind of like use him like a little fullback and just get him across
short
the
yardage
line.
back, yeah. So we're looking at spread again. They're trips to the right, almost exactly what South Tama's running, to be honest. I want to see McBride and Dolash put some heat off the edge.
Kiefer looking to throw.
There it is.
To the sideline, a flag goes out.
Chase Gustafson's going to be called for pass interference.
He kind of jumped into him. And
Timed it wrong. He never got his head around. I don't think he saw the ball.
No, he didn't see
was
the
playing
ball.
the
He just
receiver.
kind of the Knoxville receiver stopped, and he jumped up right into him as the ball was in the air.
Coaches usually teach you if that's the case and you're playing the receiver, when you see his eyes go up, you got to turn and find that ball and get an arm up in there.
And just throwing your arm, even in that situation, if your head is turned, just putting your arms up in the air and not touching him. But he was Knoxville receiver smart enough to come back to it and get some decent pass interference on it. It's going to be a big gain for Knoxville.
Pretty easy call for the referees.
Oh
there.
yeah. When it happens right in front of you like that, you're not going to get many.
And okay, here we go. Thought maybe we're going to a timeout, but
couldn't quite figure out exactly what they were doing.
And so after the penalty, it'll be Knoxville 1st and 10 on the 33.
Kiefer lining up. This is a spread look. 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left.
Get her big hosses in there. One just run right over the top of him.
Motion.
Keller in motion.
Get him out of
And
there.
it's a quarterback keeper. Here's Kiefer. Kind of runs through an arm tackle.
Picks up about 4.
Looks
Jacob
like
Youngbear.
Yep, Jacob Youngbear on the tackle.
So the run game getting started a little bit for Knoxville here in quarter number 1, as we're just at the 2-minute mark now.
We talked about Knoxville putting up 40 points last week. Week 1, they only put up 14 though.
Right.
So
yeah,
and that tells me that they probably didn't have a whole lot of they didn't hold a whole lot of confidence in their team going into week 1. If they could score some points, and like you say, we don't know how good Boone or Clark is,
right.
But you lose. I think they lost by 2.
A point in both games. Both games. Yep, they're darn close to being 2-0.
Yeah.
Quarterback keeper again.
Flashes the ball. Oh, nice little hit by Clegg. I think Medina was kind of draped around him, and Clegg finished him off. I think Medina's moving to a starting linebacker position with the absence of Bridgewater. So you've got Medina and Youngbear in the middle.
Yes.
But it does get a first down, and that'll push the Panthers up to the 39, or excuse me, the 44.
And here they're going to come out. We got Juan and Marty going to right up the middle, and they look like they're penetrating pretty well, but they're going to run right past them. Or try and run right past him through here.
And here's Kiefer.
Yep, there goes Kiefer.
Gives it to Willoughby.
Nice job.
Big, nice size gain there by Hayden Willoughby.
Brought down by Marty Garcia.
Garcia out. And
Wyatt Sermon coming into the game.
Yep,
number 56.
You know,
Sermon had a nice little fumble recovery a couple weeks ago.
He did.
Exactly.
Yep.
And they're not going to get talked about a lot, but Youngbear and Sermon are they're solid performers.
Just those lunch pail guys that come to work and do their job, right?
Exactly. They're just going to do what they want to do, and they're just going to kind of.
Looks like maybe.
Oh.
And the D-line.
Robles gets drawn offside.
Yeah.
They got everything moving in one direction. Sometimes when you're that big, it's hard to get it go back in the direction. But to complete that thought, Youngbear and Sermon are just solid kids, and you don't call their names. You're not going to call their names a lot, but they're the type of guys that are going to get a helmet sticker or something like that for their outstanding play week after week after week.
17 seconds left in the first quarter, and a couple penalties have kind of helped the Panthers slide along down the field here as they're into Trojan territory now. 1st and 10.
Kiefer with 3 to the right in the shotgun. He's going to give the ball to Willoughby to the outside.
Willoughby getting through tacklers, but finally gets brought down.
Whoop.
Clegg with a nice open field tackle there. You'd like to see your linebackers cleaning up some of that and your defensive end kind of putting a stop to that instead of your safety coming all the way up to make a tackle.
Also, too, the thing about that is that I think they're going to put him, not so much, they're going to put him out there as a safety, but he's going to be more of a rover, an extra linebacker, just in case somebody gets past. If somebody gets past the linebacker, and he's having a pretty good game, so you got to get him some water and get him some rest, and just don't give him too much.
All right, thanks for being with us. We'll be back with the second quarter here in a moment. Welcome back live from the STC Trojan Field. Start of the second quarter, and it's Knoxville leading 6-0 on a pretty active offensive game on both sides.
And it's nice to see both sides. It's nice to be pretty well balanced attack on both ends.
And we're running the same offense at each other, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same defense, too. 4 up front.
Yep.
Here's Willoughby, big run on the right side.
And there it is.
Scoots past Clegg and finally gets knocked out of bounds, but a big game there by Hayden Willoughby.
Your backside defensive end, Jeremy Dolash, traveled about probably 25 yards across the field to make that play.
Right.
Nice hustle play for Dolash. Unfortunately, ends in a first down for Knoxville. Here's Willoughby on the toss. And McBride is right there.
Nice. That's nice.
That's what we need. We need that contain. We need McBride and Dolash to start stepping up and making some tackles.
But McBride and Dolash are going to have to come in, and you got your 2 big guys in the middle. They just have to engage everybody just to keep them in there. And Knoxville's not going to run right at them, but they're going to run between them because they're not going to be able to slide on either side. So that makes it really important for McBride and Dolash to very slide Marty over, just keeping that thought in his head.
Kiefer in the shotgun. Knoxville looks like they're going to change the play. They're getting some instructions from their coach from the sideline.
2nd and 16 here for the Panthers.
Spread look. Here's Kiefer looking to his right. He's going to go to the end zone.
And
Gustafson.
Out of bounds. He was out.
And let's see what the ref says. No, he was out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
And that was a close call. Gustafson in good position. Has to get his head around and find the ball. But he was step for step.
Yes. He was step to step. And the nice thing about it is he kind of pushed him out of bounds as he was going up in the air and coming down out of bounds.
Yeah. Even on the pass interference play, he was in good position.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just he's been playing that outside linebacker. And
right.
Keller, the intended receiver on that, incomplete, and now it's 3rd and 16 for the Panthers. Big opportunity here for STC to get a stop on 3rd and get their offense back on the field.
Kiefer back in the shotgun. Two receivers to his right, 2 to his left.
Handoff of Willem. There it is.
Now he looks to his left, back to his right.
There
He's
it
going
is.
across the middle.
Exact same
toward the end
play.
zone.
Yep.
And it's good.
And that was the exact same play
to number 1, Connor Willis. And that's a big receiver. He just went up and
yes, he did.
He went up and caught the ball with his hands at the high point.
He picked it out just right out of the air, and they ran the same play, except instead of going out, he went in and just kind of picked at it. Tyrus Clegg is down. That's not a good sign.
Nope.
Especially if he's your leading tackler.
And so we'll pause for the injury stoppage here. I'd like to say thank you to all of our sponsors. They include Berkwood Village of Tama, Toledo, Salt Creek Wind, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, State Bank of Toledo, S&S Car Wash, Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home, Robbach Lumber, Stein Robbach Floor Covering, Medicap Pharmacy, Mark Wesson Hoyer Law Office, Assured Partners Insurance, Appraisal and Realty Services, Sharon Weber's, and TFD Photo and Film. Trojan Country Broadcast also made possible by the Charlie Townsley Memorial. Couple broadcast updates for you. We will be live from the STC Roundhouse on Tuesday. It'll be South Tama taking on Williamsburg in varsity volleyball action. And then next Friday, we'll be live over in Center Point, Urbana for week 4 of the football season. And so we're back on the field here. Clegg makes his way to the sidelines. And we got a PAT coming here after the touchdown from Knoxville.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but that drive started on the 20, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So 80 yards,
80
touchdown
yards
drive.
in.
Pretty methodical.
About.
The kick from Willis is good. So Willis does it both times here, getting in the end zone as a receiver and then kicking the PAT. 13-0, Knoxville on top. And South Tama seems to be giving, if they're giving 1 or 2 steps on offense, they're getting maybe 5 or 6 in return from Knoxville on the other end. So we're not pushing down the field quite hard enough.
We're right there.
Yeah. We're there. We're there. The things that the things that they're trying to do are the same things that Knoxville's is successful at. And I think the newness of the South Tama formations and the South Tama what we're trying to do is the thing that's going to get us, down the road a little bit. If we keep this up, if we don't get Bridgewater back, if we don't get the caliber of athlete, if we keep practicing these things, it looks like Knoxville is just a little bit more refined in their offensive philosophy. Yeah. Running this with Kiefer, you got a lot of the seniors. The key to Knoxville is their seniors, and we don't seem to just kind of grind that.
And the thing to remember, this team, this Knoxville team, has been in 2 very close games.
Exactly.
South Tama, not quite as much.
Right.
So Willis to kick off, and he just got a touchdown pass. Jeanette back there.
Just let it go.
Ball goes in the end zone. Good call.
Yeah.
Kinzer.
So the Trojans will start on the 20 in their next drive. First look of the second quarter here for the STC offense.
Looks like maybe they're working on Clegg's calf.
It looks like the way they're massaging and looking at it, it's not a crampy thing. It's more or less of maybe a
strain of some kind. Yeah.
Back of the. It's the back of the calf up above the Achilles tendon area.
Taking off his shoe there.
And that's not a good sign.
Okay, there's
something.
Weiss in the shotgun, Blocker in the pistol right behind him. We're going trips to the right. Dolash all along on the left, and we're looking over to Dolash here.
And there it
Throws
is.
it up high.
Oh!
And he just got drugged down,
go.
it looked like.
The flags come out.
We'll take that. Nice job.
I don't know who drug who down, to be honest.
That's
but
okay.
Hopefully it's going to bounce at South Tama's way here.
That's kind of the kind of a scrappy play that he had. He was falling forward, put his arms out, so it looked like the defensive back, the safety, kind of just pulled him down a little bit.
Yeah, pulled him right on top of him.
We'll take that. Hey,
absolutely.
Positive yards.
Okay. So the pass interference does go in favor of South Tama, and so we've seen 2 costly pass interference calls on the last Knoxville drive. That punched them forward quite a ways, and here's South Tama gets one to go on their end.
Sustain this for about 9 minutes and see if we can't get some points out of it. But that's the key. Is you get a break like that, you've got to go and
capitalize
get your
on it,
points.
Right.
Yeah.
So they just put Dolash off to the left side all alone and tried to match him up against a maybe a favorable matchup out there, and Weiss just kind of tossed it up to him here. Weiss back in the shotgun. Jeanette motioning in front of Weiss.
And there it goes.
And they're going to keep it.
And there's that little trap again.
Yeah. And he's getting 5 yards out of that. If he can get 5 yards out of it, maybe he can break one of those.
A solid 5-yard gain sets up 2nd and 5, right on the 40-yard line.
Get a lot of first downs if you get 5 yards on the
Exactly.
first down. Mm-hmm. Pretty good crowd tonight. I got here a little bit late and had trouble finding a place to park. That was kind of nice to see.
Well, you had all the youth kids in here, and it looks like a lot of the parents stuck around.
That's good.
They just kind of moved over to the parents section to get out of the high school and the middle school area because the high schoolers, of course, are standing up supporting their Trojans with their new tradition, hopefully with a powder in the air, a cloud of dust to open the games.
All right, 2nd and 5 here for Weiss. He hands it off in the power eye. It's going to be blocker, but he gets pulled down near the line of scrimmage.
So I had to check my sheet. I think number 45, I think that's Chandon Graybeal.
Yep.
Okay.
Came in when Clegg.
Okay.
Clegg came down to
kind of the
freshman.
first action for him of this season on the varsity squad.
And I've heard pretty good things from the coaches about him.
And he was featured. He was featured in the first half of the freshman game.
Yeah.
And caught a touchdown pass and had some really good tackles, and then all of a sudden disappeared when they got up big. So maybe that's part of the plan, is to move him up a little bit and use him to our advantage. He's a nice, strong kid. He's a great athlete.
Yeah, he's not a tiny kid out there, especially for a freshman, and he can move pretty well.
Weiss
drops back, looking toward Dolash. Just not a lot of time there. He had to get rid of the ball.
Incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down. So Valle on again to punt, and South Tama has another drive stopped short in the middle of the field. 9 minutes to go. Make sure to stick around during the Salt Creek Wind halftime show. We'll hear from STC cross-country runners James Brandt and Cade Rosenberger. They'll be live here in the press box.
Make sure that, Darvin, if you ask them a question, ask them how they like to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and run a 3-mile race before they go to school.
Yeah.
Start calling them the Kenyans.
Right.
Okay, here's Valle to punt.
Valle. Just get it out there.
It's a nice looking punt.
Wow.
And it's going to bounce. It's going to bounce in the right direction. Got McBride hustling down there. All 230 pounds of him getting down there to down the ball.
And so the punt by Valle gets a favorable roll and goes past the 30-yard line. Another tall order here for the South Tama defense.
Just make Knoxville work for it. Whatever, if they want something, make them work for it. That's all we have to do, and just keep it in the game.
Knoxville's had 2 drives so far, just 2 drives so far tonight, and both ended up in passing touchdowns.
With passing touchdowns. So I think they're looking for a little weakness. And with Kiefer, the way way that he throws the ball and the way he sees the field, that's the thing to do.
They've got kind of a bunch trips look over here on the short side of the field. I bet they're going to flip it out to one of these. Nope. Yep, they're going to flip it out to him, and he's got 2 lead blockers in front of him. Great job by Jeanette just to fight that off, and Dolash was all over it as well. Nice little pop by Dolash.
And they didn't get sucked into that, and that's nice.
But I was impressed by Kinzer Jeanette out there taking on that first block and shedding him.
Jay Keller, the receiver for Knoxville, and that'll bring up a short gain, setting up 2nd and a long 8.
Right. And that's the effort you're going to get from Kinzer every time he goes out there. I don't care what he's doing. He had never played golf before last spring, and he showed up and just improved every day. Just getting in there. Now, kind of he's got him a little addicted to it. But I like his effort.
Spread look for Knoxville. Kiefer in the shotgun. Looks to his left.
There it is again.
Short passes at Willoughby.
There it is.
Great job by Dolash out there. Just one-on-one. Nice open field tackle. Dolash is playing some pretty good defense right now.
And we heard from Coach Doran in the pregame about how Dolash's confidence really had a nice spike after the touchdown and a strong game last week. You can definitely see the kind of growth and aggressiveness from him tonight on both sides of the ball. And it's going to be needed for South Tama with a couple players injured.
And Graybeal playing some defense, too. He's playing both sides of the ball here.
3rd down now for the Panthers.
South Tama with, gosh, they got the 2 big guys in the middle. It seems like Dolash is playing off a little bit, like they're almost in a 3 front. Dolash almost looks like he's a little bit of a outside backer.
And he's
coming.
He moved.
It's going to be a handoff.
I faked the handoff. It was a pretty nice fake, yeah. That's that fake jet sweep where the quarterback rides him out and keeps it the other way.
He picked up 4 yards, not enough, but they're going to have to go for it.
Knoxville will get the ball in the second half.
Here.
Oh, let them move you. They're going to measure that.
Huh? What are they?
They're
saying first down.
They will call first down.
I was going to say the chain gang.
That was a little weird.
The chain gang kind of gave him the.
I don't know. Yeah.
Gave him the first down there. I think so. And they're supposed to be working for us. They go the other way.
First down for the Panthers.
Okay, Kiefer in the shotgun again. Here's this jet motion.
That's jet.
This time he's going to give the jet. Jeanette
Stay home.
in the open field slowed him down just enough.
And
that was Kobe Higginbotham, the junior tight end, getting the carry there.
Dolash is kind of all over the field here.
Yeah, he is.
And he's only played football for a couple of years. He had a lot of playing time last year, so maybe he's kind of coming into his own.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I think that you're going to look at is with a guy like Jeremy Dolash, when Bridgewater is out and he needs to step up, he's going to step up because he's a natural leader. Yep. He's just grown into the position from, running cross country to playing football like this, and a 2-year starter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yep.
Second down and 4 for the Panthers.
South Tama back to that 3 front. Dolash is kind of playing a linebacker here. And it's a keeper. Fakes the jet sweep. And Graybeal in on the tackle. So there's a freshman getting in on a tackle, and he and Young Bear. Young Bear comes all the way out to the sideline to
will be enough for a first down, and so that gets the Panthers into the 46-yard line. It's still in their own territory, though.
Number 66, Caden Sokol, coming in on the defensive side. I know he plays a lot of offense, but
I think you're going to have to get him to play a little bit of defense because
Josh Stoll is over the center. He's playing nose guard. Stoll's a horse in the weight room. I tell you what, I don't know if he's played football since he was in middle school. Here's Kiefer, hands it off up the middle.
Willoughby.
And he's
stuffed in the backfield
by a host of Trojans. McBride
in there.
Who's it?
Maybe Gustus? No, Kins or Jeanette.
Jeanette sticking his nose in there.
Yep.
Second and 12 now for the Panthers. And they've had answers here down, on third down. Long yardage situations, they've come up with some answers, and we'll see if they can do it again.
Moving them backwards here, but we've got to just maintain
this front. It's giving them a different look.
Sure it is.
Probably don't scout that on film.
No, they do not. We haven't run it yet, have we?
So here's this jet sweep.
It's a kind of a traditional.
A jet look, and he gives it.
And they're not getting anything on the outside either.
It's number 14, Jay Keller, on the carry.
South Tama's tackler slow to get up. That was McBride coming over on the
But great job by McBride
there
to go out and get that one. As a defensive end, you've got to contain that guy.
And we got a timeout on the field.
Responsibility football. That D-end has to be able to get a yard or two upfield and turn everything to the inside.
And that's what we're preaching at our level down in the middle school is just getting back to that idea of just staying home and nothing's going to everything's got to coincide so you can get a linebacker to come in there. But I'm pretty impressed with Ride and Dolash. There's the way that they're kind of just taking away that edge.
Mm-hmm. And Bridgewater's out there talking. He's in Dolash's ear right now. Gavin Bridgewater, not Coach, but yeah.
And he's showing him.
He's
showing him what to do, which is a good thing because he's got the experience.
He's invested in his teammate, right?
And you know that he's probably he probably sat down with Dad and watched the film so he can tell people what to do.
And Coach Bridgewater over there talking to the freshman Graybeal, maybe coaching him up a little bit too, saying, "Hey, we're going to need some minutes out of you."
Yep. I like to see this. It's after an 0-2 start, you could kind of get backbiting, you can get kind of snippy with each other. But I like the enthusiasm South Tama's coming out with in this game. They're still in this, and it's not by any means they're not going to get blown away like they did that first game where they were just kind of stunned with what was going on.
I think we're getting better as a team.
Yes, we are working to better as a team.
Spread look for Knoxville. Kiefer in the shotgun.
Third down and 10.
South Tama looks like Young Bear on the stunt. He's coming.
Pass play coming.
McBride gets to the quarterback just a little bit too late. Knoxville had a wide open receiver.
And that just fell through.
Rylan Robinson.
Like a colander. My goodness.
Man, that's kind of a gift.
Yeah. We got lucky because I don't know what's going on that side of the ball. excuse me. But we're having problems, and if
I don't know if that's a cover
there,
4, because we've got 4 defensive backs, so you think it'd be quarters all the way deep, but that's right. It was right between Gustafson and when I say right between them, there was about 20 yards between them. But.
Right, but it seems to be he's running down the seam right between them. And then he's going to cut inside as your safety is sliding on over to that side.
Knoxville's first punt of the game, first drive.
And it's pass.
They're faking it right over the middle to a big man. Wow, that kid went up and got a football there.
Who was that?
Number 82.
Higginbotham?
That's Higginbotham. Yep.
That was a big kid.
Yeah, the rosters don't list height and weight, so it's kind of hard to see at first blush, but he's one of the bigger bodies out there for Knoxville, and he gets it done.
Yeah, he had 154 yards coming into the game and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and 2 touchdowns. And
he's new to us tonight, but he's been.
Yep. And they run an H and Y, an X, a Y, and a Z receiver.
So the Y is typically the tight end.
That's what I was going to say. That
X and Z is typically the slot. X is kind of like a wide guy where Dolash is playing. X would be like the one receiver guy. Typically, I don't know how they.
Well, it looked like it was there because he's not going to be out and beating anybody on the corner.
No, and I spoke too soon. I said it was Knoxville's first punt of the game, and they fake it and get a big first down. Put my foot in my mouth there. Huh?
We need to stop that then.
Yeah.
Next time you're going to be watching for it. The next time they get out there and punt.
I'll be yelling fake out there.
Yep.
1 yard on that carry, and so it'll bring up 2nd and 9 for the Panthers in Trojans territory now.
They've got a little bunch over to the left. They've got trips to the short side, and they're just going to give it up the middle.
Yep.
I think Young Bear was in there initially, and now a host of Trojans.
Willoughby, the carrier, nowhere to go, and Jeanette and company fired up.
Mm-hmm. So 3rd and 10.
3rd and 10, but you got to be careful here because this is where you got the possibility to get burned on that pass.
They can throw the ball, and they've got some receivers who go up and get the ball with their hands.
And just the exact same thing we just saw. A 10-yard outs gets you a first down, and they're just eating away and just chipping away at the clock.
So Kiefer in the spread again. He's in shotgun.
Yeah.
4 D-backs for South Tama.
And he's going to pass. Here it goes.
And he's got time. He's
taking off with
Kiefer going to tuck and run, and he's near the first down, but I don't know that he's got enough.
And is that Robles way over there by the sideline?
No. Is it?
Yeah.
No. That's Josh Stull. Is it?
No, I think it was Robles.
Is that
No, that was Robles.
Was he moving like that?
What a hustle play. And they stopped him short.
There you go.
Big trucking getting to the sidelines, and that forces a 4th down.
4th and 3.5.
The second 4th down situation this Knoxville offense has faced so far.
This drive.
Yeah, they're arguing the spot. Oh, there he is.
We're going to take him back a little bit.
Coach is in the referee's ear. They're spotting the ball, and they moved it back. So I'm going to have to redo my adding.
Shoot.
That's not a good thing for a social studies teacher.
4th and 3.
So Knoxville in just their 3rd drive of the game.
Yeah.
And we're late in the second quarter.
Late in the second quarter, Knoxville gets it in the 3rd.
But they're grinding. And South Tama
we
was
slowed them down, but
they're going to call a timeout.
Get this figured out. So don't jump.
Yeah.
That's what you're telling your D linemen.
Yep.
Watch the ball. Watch the ball.
And that's going to be the key. That's going to be the key. If Kiefer gets up underneath center, you know that he's not going to do anything except try and make you jump because they got the timeouts and they got 1:31 left.
So
great field position.
They're going to try to run it up the middle. They're going to run that jet. They're going to flip it out for a quick screen.
I don't think they're going to run that jet. I think what they're going to do is they're just going to, if they're going to do anything, they're just going to try and take this ball, and they're either going to have Kiefer or Willoughby just run it straight up the middle. And maybe if
maybe they run the jet motion and fake it.
Because they can get a lot of bites off of that one. But they're going to have, you got Dolash and you've got Kai McBride out there. They're going to stay home, so they're just going to run right through it. If you step up your linebackers a little bit, take them 2 or 3 steps and shut this down, you can get them moving. But I think you've got Juan out there, but I don't see Marty.
Looks like Stoll.
So Stoll is out there. So what they have to do is they just basically have to shut this door and let those linebackers sneak on up and fill the holes.
Willoughby running on.
I can't imagine.
They must have a tight end there because
Where's he
Oh,
at?
and we've
though?
got the motion. They're loading up the right side. They're coming right to the right. He's going to throw it.
He's going to throw the ball and
dumps it off to Higginbotham.
Yeah, Higginbotham. Man, he can go up and get a football.
Jeez.
So South Tama slowing down Knoxville a little bit, but
But when
they threw several motions in there.
Yeah, when they need that, they're going to get it, and that bringing him across with that little, out of that little shotgun is a great idea because he can just get the ball and he can just run with it.
First down and goal for the Panthers on the 10.
Minute 22 left in the half. Kiefer and shotgun, 2 receivers to each side.
I like the fight in the Trojans. They're staying in it. They're not. There's no.
He's going to give it to Willoughby up the middle.
Willoughby crashes the line, short gain.
And if it's still in there, he's doing a good job because Juan's cutting him off. The big body is cutting him off, and Josh is coming straight across through.
Medina with the.
And it's.
That's what you want. You want those big guys up front to take up some of those blocks, and then your linebackers to come up and fill hard, make some tackles.
Our linebacking core is not bad tonight.
Here's Kiefer in the shotgun.
Geez, he had all time. And Willoughby goes up, gets
in the corner of the end zone.
Did he get it?
Higginbotham
again, and it's called good.
Wow.
Almost the exact spot that last touchdown was caught.
Except this was Willoughby.
Is it
going
Willoughby
up for that? I thought it was Willoughby.
I thought maybe it was Big 82, Kobe Higginbotham.
You may be right. Their big tight end.
So Willis will line up for the PAT. 45 seconds left on the clock.
So South Tama slowed Knoxville down a bit. And Dolash almost gets in and blocks that one. But similar result. 3 drives for Knoxville. 3 scores through the air.
I'd like to say thank you to our sponsors. They include Salt Creek Wind, Burkwood Village of Tama, Toledo, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, State Bank of Toledo, S&S Car Wash, Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home, Robach Lumber, Stein Robach Floor Covering, Medicap Pharmacy, Mark Weston Hoyer Law Office, Assured Partners Insurance, Appraisal and Realty Services, Sharn Webbers, and TFD Photo and Film. Don't forget to stick around at halftime. During the Salt Creek Wind halftime show, we're going to hear from STC cross country runners James Brandt and Cade Rosenberger coming up in just a short moment.
One of the interesting things about this is that they didn't put up very many points against Boone. So chances are they focused on the running game against Boone. But last week they put up a bunch of points against Clark. So they probably did this exact same thing, trying to balance things out. Don't get a lot of things on film and all this. But they're, district-wise, Knoxville looks like they could contend with some people districts-wise are going to run against them. And if I'm not mistaken, I thought that I saw them. The favorite in that district's got to be Harlan out there with Nevada and
it's got to be interesting. I don't know who they ran at quarterback.
Yeah,
those first 2 games because Kiefer's their guy, obviously, and Jeanette gets swarmed there on the kick return. But also Brandon Woosley, a junior, came in with 167 passing yards as well. So he must have got some pretty decent time in one of those games.
Right.
And maybe he was their starter on week 1, and now they've got the senior Kiefer.
That's what I was just going to say. And maybe he was the starter last week, and then he stalled, and they put Kiefer in. Because he looks like he's seasoned. He looks like he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he wants to do.
And the other thing with Kiefer is he led the team in rushing yards coming in, but we haven't seen him run the ball a ton. He's kept it a few times.
He hasn't run the ball a ton, but he's just I think he's going to nickel and dime you to death with the run.
So South Tama, we've got Kinzer Jeanette in motion. Weiss in the shotgun. He's going to run an ISO, maybe a little guard trap.
Short gain there by the Trojans with under 30 seconds left in this half.
We've got enough time to run one more. Well, maybe they're not going to run one more play.
And South Tama's run that play a few times. I'm not sure if the guard's pulling.
Yeah.
Just a little trap.
Yeah.
Because they're motioning Jeanette across the formation, but then they're running to the opposite side of Jeanette.
And he's coming.
Maybe Jeanette's filling for the pulling guard.
Could be.
10 seconds here for Weiss and the Trojans. See if they can punch down the field. Little last second.
He's going to drop back. He's looking toward Dolash.
Just throw it.
Slips
and
the tackle.
Weiss just lets it go.
Yep.
Not a bad idea.
Out of bounds.
Okay.
And that will do it. We'll go into halftime with Knoxville leading 20-0 against the South Tama Trojans.
And focusing on the positives. That's what we need to do, is go in at halftime and focus on the positives.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll hear from a couple cross-country runners and bring you a breakdown of the stats from the first half. Thanks for being with us. All right, welcome live from the STC Roundhouse, the STC Trojan Field. It's halftime here, the Salt Creek Wind halftime show. I'm joined by a couple of our cross-country runners. We got James Brandt, Cade Rosenberger. Guys, what do you think of this game first half? I know, James, you've been out there taking some photos for the newspaper. Yep. What were your kind of initial thoughts about what South Tama's doing out there so far?
Well, I thought they looked pretty good. I thought they did some good stuff on offense, and Daniel made some good passes to Jeremy and a few other guys. Just couldn't stop them on defense, so hopefully they can do a little better with that.
No doubt. All right, we're going to talk a little cross-country here. You guys are part of a really competitive, tight group of senior runners on the boys' side. You guys have been together for a long time, running together for a long time. What is the chemistry like within your group of boys varsity runners? How do you support each other, and how do you make each other better as a group?
Yeah, we've definitely been together since middle school. I mean, we've had a really solid core group that we've just grown up together running and have built friendships and relationships doing this sport, and it's just been awesome to do it with these guys, and it definitely makes us better. So yeah, do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I have something to add. One thing I definitely noticed this year that's different from every year now that we're seniors and now that we're the leaders is we still enjoy our time together every day in practice, but as soon as it's time to get going on the workout and everything, I mean, we're ready to go. Everyone's locked in and focused, and that's what's really great about the leadership of our team right now is everyone's together and trying to get better.
So South Tama, you guys are pushing towards a state tournament berth and probably more with a lot of competitive runners on your team. You guys came really close to the state meet last year. What do you remember about that time? What did that feel like last season, and how have you been preparing for this last senior year where you got another shot at it here in 2023?
Last season was a great progression, but unfortunately at the end it was a heartbreak.
Yeah.
But we're so ready to make a push again this season and to really fight for our school and team and coaches and everyone who supports us.
Do you feel like it really motivated you to get out there and you know, I know you're a lot of you running in the track season and staying busy in the summer. How did that end of the year last year kind of motivate what's going on this year?
It motivated us in a way that like we kind of took the heartbreak and turned it into a fire where now it's like we got something to prove now. I mean, we have something to prove. That's pretty much it. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super proud of the guys and just how I've seen them just continue to work. They've really been awesome and just continue to stay motivated through the ups and downs of things. And yeah, couldn't be more proud of them. I think they're gonna do great as the season keeps going on and as we try to make that state push.
Yeah. You guys now as seniors have a lot of cross-country running under your belt. How do you feel for each of you that you've evolved as a runner, thinking about your freshman, sophomore years, even middle school, to where you are now? How do you feel like you've kind of grown and evolved as a cross-country runner?
I just think we've matured so much, and we know what to do when it comes to practicing. I mean, like Cade was saying, we goof around a lot because we're all friends, but when it's time to get to work and do what we need to do, we get it done, and we do it well. And when it comes to racing, we feel right going into it, and we do what we need to do just to have a good race and compete at the highest level. And we've just continued to do that, and we've matured and grown through all that.
Yeah. You guys had a really early meet, kind of a weird situation this past week with that Grinnell meet starting at 8:30 in the middle of a school week, not a weekend like you kind of are used to with those early mornings. How was that whole experience, just having to get up early, get on a bus, kind of get the fuel situation dialed in a different way at a different time of the day, and then have to go right back to school at the end of the whole thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was definitely an adjustment that we kind of had to make last minute. I think a lot of us enjoy running in the mornings, and so some people really enjoyed that, but I think it definitely we weren't used to it for some people.
Yeah.
I'm going to add on to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing that was really crazy about the race in the morning during a school day was that there was like nobody there.
Really?
Like,
that's interesting.
Most of the run, you're just running alone, and
yeah, if you're spread out too, and you don't have
having no one there to kind of cheer you on because everyone had to work and they're busy with their lives.
One interesting thing I've kind of noticed in the last couple of years is that you guys have participated in some kind of, I don't want to say extracurricular, but some meets that are out of state, some bigger kind of national, regional meets. You guys have one coming up this year. Can you talk a little bit about what that's going to be and maybe what the experience was like doing that last one? Was it after the season, I think, last year that you went up to a different out-of-state thing? Kind of talk a little bit about that and what that experience has been like.
So last year was really the first time we did this. We went to NXR, which is a Nike regional meet that they do kind of in the Midwest. And so that was just kind of a race that we kind of just put together last minute just to get the team together to run one last time because we didn't make state. And so it's a big meet, and so it gives us state-like experience.
Yep.
And so we're going to do that again at the end of the year to kind of cap it off. But before that, we're going to Minnesota to run in the Roy Griak meet, and that's going to be another big state-like experience just to get the guys who haven't been there, and even me and Tommy, just kind of back into that feeling, get them excited for it, get us ready to roll when we get to that time.
Yeah, how do you feel like that has gotten you prepared? What does that environment do for you, having that sort of larger meet environment?
It calms the nerves, first of all. Just getting used to having that many people there watching you. I mean, we talked about Grinnell like no one was there. At those meets, it's just a wall of people.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about people cutting the courses short because there's a wall of people there, and it's loud. And if you're not doing good, it can get in your head a little bit. And so we're just getting used to that environment, and it'll be great.
A few weeks into the season now, you guys have had a few races under the belt a little bit this far. How are you feeling about maybe your personal, where you're at individually, but also as a team? Where do you kind of feel like the Trojans are at as a group, maybe compared to last year at this time, or just what is kind of the vibe with the team right now?
Yeah, I think we're in a good spot. We're definitely progressing. We've had some good races and some bad races, so we're getting used to just having both of those things and dealing with both of those things at an early time in the year. So we're definitely progressing and we're definitely getting better.
Kate, any final thoughts?
I just think that we're preparing ourselves in the right way to compete at the end of the season. You don't really need to peak right now and then plateau for the rest of the season. You just need to have a solid progression, and that's what we're looking for, and that's what we need. And that's what we're doing.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. That was James Brandt, Kate Rosenberger. Best of luck to you on the season. We'll be rooting for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome back live. It's the Saw Creek Wind halftime show here from Trojan Field. South Tama trailing 20-0 after 2 quarters of play. I've got George Cuter and Nate Van Dyke here with me in the booth. And go ahead, George, give us some halftime stats, if you would.
Some halftime stats starting with Knoxville. Their quarterback, Kiefer, has rushed the ball 4 times for 18 yards. Willoughby, 8 times. He's got about a 5-yard average, which is what he had coming in. He's got 40 yards on his 8 rushes. You haven't seen anything else. Caden Willoughby, if I'm not mistaken, they're probably brothers, cousins, maybe something like that. 1 rush for 5 yards. And then Kiefer's got 9. He's 7 for 9 on his passing with 122 yards. And the big guy is Higginbotham. He's got 38 yards on 3 catches, along with Magnana, he's got one for 46 yards. But the biggie is the passing with Knoxville. They got a 46, a 26, and a 14-yard scoring pass to 3 different guys for their 20 points. South Tama, not as bad as you would say 20-0. Daniel Weiss passing is 4 for 7 with 51 yards on his attempts, and he's also the leading rusher right now with 20 yards. Cody Blocker not able to get onto the outside. He's got -2 yards. Jeremy Dolash has got 2 catches for 29 yards, and Tyrus Clay's got 2 catches for 10 yards. Kinzer Jeanette's got 1 catch for 13 yards. But the biggest part of the whole thing is that South Tama is nice and steady with their offensive approach, but they're just basically what Knoxville is doing is the old just run, wear him down pass, and they're getting close to the yard line, and they're just gonna throw to those big receivers that they have that can just jump up and grab the ball out of the air. So look for South Tama to change things up a little bit on the offensive side, I think. So we should be ready to go for a pretty good next half.
And so we've got about just under 2 minutes to go before kickoff here. I'd like to quickly say thank you to our sponsors. They include Berkwood Village of Tama, Toledo, Salt Creek Wind, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, State Bank of Toledo, S&S Car Wash, Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home, Robach Lumber, Stein Robach Floor Coverings, Medicap Pharmacy, Mark West and Hoyer Law Office, Assured Partners Insurance, Appraisal and Realty Services, Sharn Webbers, and TFD Photo and Film. And so another busy week over here in South Tama.
Everybody's in action.
Yeah.
Middle school cross country next week. Varsity cross country at home.
Didn't even talk to the boys about the home meet. We've got a really, exciting South Tama home cross country meet. It'd be a good opportunity for local fans to get out and support the South Tama Trojans and see some really, really excellent cross country running and support those guys.
And you've got your 2 really good. You got your 1-2 in James and Tommy, and then you coming out, but going unmentioned all season long is Kayla Heck. Is having a great season. She's leading the girls. She's a senior.
Yep.
She's been off cross country for 4 years, and right now she's running the best that she's run in a year. She's cooking on all cylinders. I think she hasn't finished out of the top 25 or 30 all season long. So she's having a great year, and it's going to be exciting because we got some middle school kids out too. So we'll see what's going to happen on Monday in their first meet.
And so South Tama will kick away to start the 3rd quarter. And I haven't tracked Tyrus Clegg yet off of this coming out of halftime. Do we see? Yeah, he's still.
Yes, he's still kind of
trying to look and see if he's got shoes on. He's got to.
Yeah, he's standing on the sidelines here, but he's just you can tell he's kind of favoring one leg over the other because the way he's standing.
Yeah. He's not going out for kickoff team. He doesn't have his helmet in his hand, so that's a little
not
bothersome.
So the Trojans lose Bridgewater in the second half of last week. It's early in the game for Clegg, who appears hampered at the moment.
I'm not sure he doesn't have shoes on. I don't know if he's going to come back in.
Yeah. Pads are still on, but everything else doesn't look like a good sign.
Standing talking to one of the volunteer assistant coaches. Yeah, I think he's done. The way he's standing.
He would have his helmet on, or he'd be in his hand, or just kind of gimping around over there, it looks like.
He's not going too far from Doc Heck, I can tell you that right now. She's kind of got his. But you can almost guarantee he's going to be back in there. He's going to be, if he can get close to the sidelines, he's going to be doing the same thing Gavin Bridgewater is, encouraging his teammates.
Are we going to see more of Graybeal?
I think you will.
He was kind of playing on both sides of the ball there. Now you can only play so many quarters a night.
Yes.
Kind of a squib kick right up the middle by Valle.
Willoughby, the
number 15,
returner,
runs through an arm tackle. Nice return for Knoxville. Brings him up to about the 42-yard line.
Yep. I do believe it's all 6 quarters a night.
6 quarters. It used to be. I didn't know if they changed that rule just because so many teams are hurting for numbers.
No, I don't think they've changed the rules, but they're a little. I mean, it's a self-reporting thing, so it's
right.
And obviously, they're not going to put him in.
Who's keeping track?
Going to get in trouble.
Pardon the camera here, viewers. I'm going to try and wipe down our press box glass a little bit. It's a little bit foggy.
Get a little humid out.
Just a touch.
Okay. So Knoxville in the shotgun. They've got trips to the right. It's a give to the running back. And that's number 3. Chase Ryder.
So that's something new.
Yeah, they're featuring a different back.
And that's kind of been the MO a little bit from this Knoxville team. They've had 2 different quarterbacks and a couple different running backs in action.
And to me, they ran a true trips that last formation. Right. And this is too. They don't have that close receiver that's close to the line playing more of a wingback spot. So it's kind of a true trips. Number 3 still at running back. They're throwing it right over the middle, in and out of number 22.
That was Rylan Robinson.
Robinson, he's not as big as the other guys, as the height-wise.
He was open, though, wasn't he?
There, but he was there.
And Kiefer put it right in his hands.
Yep.
Couple of costly incompletes.
And I don't know if we're dropping back into a cover 4 zone, but it seems like they're kind of finding some seams here.
They're in that. The one, the big 46-yarder that caught him, they caught him in a seam, and there was nobody around him.
No.
And that's one of the things that you got to be careful of right here.
I'm not sure if Robinson wouldn't have caught that ball if he wouldn't have been to the house on that one either.
Yeah, he kind of got himself twisted, though.
Higginbotham in motion. He's going to carry it.
Wow.
And Jeanette coming off the edge, and he's going to chase him all the way across the field.
Chase him all the way across the field, slowed him
down. Driven back.
And
Higginbotham goes not very far. That'll bring a 4th down. So just like that, South Tama forces a 4th.
Another guy that was in this opening drive on defense was Drew Mellies, number 60 out there, and that could be the six quarters. Right. He probably played for the Frosh, and that now he gets 2 quarters.
They didn't play very much. They didn't play very much of the second half.
Right.
So there was probably a plan. They got up big,
and now it was continuous clock. I'm assuming.
Coach Pesca got him up there, and he started to weed guys out.
Drayton White coming in at a linebacker. And that could just be the punt return team.
Cody Blocker to return the punt. He waves fair catch.
I tell you what, that's one of the toughest things to do in football is return punts. Because that ball's up there and it's moving around. You got to take your eyes off the ball to see if someone's bearing down on you, if you need to fair catch it or not. And then you got to catch the thing, especially if it's windy. It's moving around a bit. That was Knoxville's first drive that did not end in a score.
Wow.
Well, they only had the ball 3 times. Isn't that right?
3 plays.
4 times.
3 now, yep.
Quick score update for you over in Mount Vernon.
3 times.
The Mustangs leading Benton Community 19-7, and Grinnell up against Oskaloosa 26-6.
Knoxville had the ball 3 times in the first half.
And then this is the
scored a passing touchdown every single time. Yep. So this is the first drive that did not end in a score for the Panthers.
Here's Weiss in the shotgun again with Blocker right behind, looking to throw.
You got to get rid of it. Oh, man.
And Dolash showing a little moxie coming over the middle with going up and getting a ball.
Into traffic, and Dolash secures it. Gain of 7 yards on the reception there.
And he's tackled by Hauk. He's Knoxville's leading tackler. He's also got a couple forced fumbles on the season.
And Weiss kind of held that ball for a little bit, so he got open. As soon as he threw it, he got crushed. But Dolash he's get him across the middle like that. He can administer some punishment too.
He's the single receiver, so Dolash is on an island over there, and they're not bringing a linebacker out there. Quick screen.
Is this Graybill here?
Yes, Graybill. So is that the freshman's first touch of the ball in varsity action? It's a first down.
That is
good way to start it.
Magana on the tackle for Knoxville, and that'll bring up 1st and 10. Graybill gets the first down on what should likely be his first varsity
touch.
touch.
And it will not be his last.
No,
I don't think so.
On the 33, Weiss
and it's an
stutter
option.
Steps right to the line and brought down by a couple Panthers.
And I think that was an option play with Weiss and Blocker, a sprint option, and Weiss elects to keep it, but he's met pretty hard there after a short gain.
Another score update for you. The Solon Spartans leading 28-6 over Central DeWitt. Solon, that Week 1 upset loss to Assumption Catholic. Looking to kind of bounce their fortunes back.
Weiss in the shotgun. Gustafson Graybale off to the right. Dolash, lone receiver on the left side. Looks like he wanted to throw it quick to Gustafson, but the play wasn't. Oh, what a nice little, almost a little shovel pass.
Yeah.
Trying to make something happen. And Gustafson and Weiss
comes down with it. Short gain there, but positive yardage, and that'll set up a 3rd and manageable.
Gustafson with a couple yards.
3rd and 5.
Looked like something on the school lot, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
3rd and 5 on the 38 now. South Tama needing to get into Knoxville territory and extend this offensive drive and keep their defense on the sideline a little bit.
Weiss in the shotgun. Moving to his right. It's
option. Get out.
Option to Blocker,
Get him
and
out.
Blocker
There
does
you
a
go.
nice job finishing the run. I think he's got a first down. See, Blocker lower the shoulder a little bit. That's what you were talking about, Coach. Get him out in space and get ahead of steam.
Get him ahead of steam, and if momentum gets his side, he can. And he's one of those kids that could just jump over somebody and just go.
Well, guess who had the fastest time in the 40-yard dash today?
Cody Blocker.
Cody Blocker.
There you go. I think Blocker just in some language has got to just translate to speed. Every blocker we've ever had here was fast.
Yep.
1st and 10 for the Trojans on the 44. Pitch
There it
out
is,
again
pitch
to
out,
Blocker,
and
right
there it
back.
is.
And he doesn't gain much positive yardage there, but he stuck the ball up in there. He didn't take the loss. He got going north and south.
So you see Blocker getting a little more aggressive here.
Yeah, those blockers have got some speed. That we're talking. Peyton Vest.
Yeah.
The blocker, Colton Vest.
Yep.
Tyler had speed.
Tyler had speed. Bo
Cody's
had
brother,
speed.
Bo, played
Yep.
tailback for South Tama.
Yep. If I'm not mistaken, they were all. I think they were all. I don't know about Peyton, but
Colton Smith.
Yep, Colton Smith. I know that Tyler was a state medalist for us, and Bo was on that 4x1 team.
Right.
Yep.
That finished 5th his senior year.
2nd and 10. Weiss looking to pass up the middle. It's Dolash again in
alive.
space.
Nice little
Look
spin
at
move
that.
by Dolash.
Jeez.
He's kind of bruising after he catches it. Okay, he's giving Weiss a big target.
That connection between senior to senior, Weiss to Dolash, their teammates on the basketball team, and you can see some chemistry here. Week 2 to week 3, Dolash getting some confidence, and here we are, 1st and 10 into Knoxville territory. Go
The
ahead.
nice thing about it is when Jeremy's coming across, when he's coming across the middle, he's staying in front of those linebackers. And he's not getting behind the linebacker where there's a linebacker between him and Weiss. There's nobody between them. So if he can see him as an open target, he's got some space to run. He can run and bruise somebody.
And that's not an easy play to make in football.
No, it's not.
Catching a ball over the middle. Blocker kind of speed option.
Trouble with the fingertips there, but he crowds it in.
And I think Weiss is hitting him where he needs to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe as he's getting out downfield and he wants to try and tuck that ball.
He's getting his eyes up too quick, maybe trying to put the cart ahead of the horse a little bit.
Yep.
1 yard loss on the run there brings up 2nd and 11. Trojans just outside the 40-yard line.
And as you know, Coach, this grass is no fun when it gets wet.
No, and it's pretty long. I walked out there across the field today, and it's pretty long. Medina at center. He's going to snap it to Weiss in the shotgun. Blocker the pistol back. Looks to his right. And he is going backwards, but now he's got green. Let's see if Weiss can make
there.
Oh.
Flips it to Dolash, and Dolash
picks up
running through tacklers.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Who was that on that block? Was that Stull on the block there?
Yes.
That kind of freed Weiss up?
Yes, it was.
You got Sokol, I think, maybe out there. Stull. Medina.
It was 66. I didn't have my...
Here, let me check for you. Sokol. Caden Sokol.
Caden Sokol on the key block, and that sets up a little pitch forward to Dolash, and we're in business here. 1st and 10.
With those 12-yard receptions, Jeremy Dolash is putting some pretty good yards.
He's getting a little... Yep. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. That's not good. He shouldn't have thrown that.
And he is going to go, but we've got Blocker not giving up on the play.
Oh,
man. Oh, my goodness. Cody Blocker just went for broke on that one. And
well, he could have had the tackle, but he was going for you know, and that's
out.
what they teach too. You jump on the guy's back and you throw a punch over his shoulder and you try to knock that ball out. I don't fault him for that.
No.
You know, maybe you hang on a little bit tighter, but you're full speed. And blocker ran him down pretty well.
That was Jack Bertrand, the senior defensive end, coming up with that pick in the backfield.
So South Tama moves the ball pretty well. I think the play was a middle screen attempt.
Yep.
And one of the linemen batted it into the air, and another one grabbed it. And
it looked like Daniel tried to just go over the line, and he was just going to try and dump it like a Tebow over-the-top pass, and he just didn't get enough oomph on it. And all of a sudden, his receiver turned around, and then boom, and next thing you know, blockers running him down. But
yeah, so that play's kind of scary. On a middle screen, basically the offensive line lets the defensive lineman through.
Exactly.
And then they go to the next level and try to black the linebackers. And the idea is you dump it over top of those defensive linemen that are getting excited because the quarterback's right in front of them. But.
Right, and Daniel knew he ran the play well. It's a nice looking play. It's a well-designed play, but if you just either underthrow or overthrow that pass, you're gonna run into a little bit of trouble.
Yep.
So
I like the middle screen.
You know what?
I used to coach with Coach Niederman a little bit, and his big thing was the best time to run a middle screen is after you just ran a middle screen.
Exactly. That was the pesca. That's the old days. That's the.
Yeah.
Yep.
So 27-0, Knoxville kind of wresting control of this game here in the third quarter.
He'd say that and then do that goofy little laugh. That little,
it's contagious, though,
that
right?
elf snicker he's got. The best time to run a middle screen is after you run a middle screen. Just,
we got Jeanette and Graybeal back to return the ball.
the fun part about it, though, is when he was coaching middle school football, they just dominated with that middle screen.
Yeah.
Him and Pesca were up down there.
Here's Willis to kick off for the Panthers.
Midway into the third, Trojans looking for answers.
Okay, go.
Here's Graybeal. It's Kinzer Jeanette right in front of him. He tries to pop it to the outside, and that might be a freshman thing. First time you're not sticking it up where your blockers are. You try to outrun people to the outside.
Stop just inside the 20, and that will be where South Tama mounts their next drive.
So South Tama stops Knoxville for the first time tonight and forces them to punt. And then a defensive touchdown.
Yep, moving the ball pretty well. Yep. Moving the ball really well.
It's kind of a backbreaker, isn't it? You're doing some things well, then all of a sudden you give up a play like that.
Let's see them come back at it. I mean, they've got 5 minutes left in the quarter.
We had something going.
Yeah.
Right.
Just maybe keep running that stuff that they were running over the middle to Dolash.
Dolash out wide.
Yep. There goes
and they're
Kinzer
going
again in
right
motion.
up the middle.
Little ISO. Quarterback ISO.
Yeah.
Swarm of Knoxville Panthers on top of Weiss there. Short gain, 2 yards on the carry, bringing up 2nd and 8 on the 24.
I like the way the line is not quitting, though. They're moving guys out of the way, and you're going to pick up 1 or 2 or 3 yards on every carry. But what I'd like to see them do is maybe just open up a hole. Kinzer is coming across, and I don't know.
They're not running behind him.
No,
so I don't know if he's filling for someone who's pulling.
I think they're trying to pull him.
They're trying to do a little trap.
Exactly.
Yeah. So here's Kinzer again. Let me take a look here. And I don't see anybody pulling, really.
No. It's maybe just he's a little bit of a decoy if they could slide a linebacker over to cover him.
Yep.
And then just maybe get Daniel up through and penetrate one of those holes and get him out in space a little bit.
3rd and 3, manageable.
Short gain there by Weiss, and now the 3rd down opportunity here.
It'd be fun to see right here is throw a little score at him.
Oh,
just
yeah.
A stat guy.
I like it. Dolash bringing in the play to Weiss here.
Yep.
And what a game Dolash has had so far.
Man alive.
Really break out, yep. He's stretching out the hamstrings there. He's been busy.
He's been putting in work. Okay, so we have trips to the left with Jeanette kind of in that wing spot. Weiss in the shotgun, and he's going to throw.
Almost intercepted.
Dolash just on a hitch route, and Weiss didn't quite have enough time to. to set his feet and make a pass.
Yeah, he kind of looks like he turned to grab the ball and just kind of dove for it a little bit, and his feet just slid out from underneath him. But one of the things about Jeremy Dolash is that I know who's in charge of the weight room, and he take great pride in that. Is that the kids come in?
He can jump out the ceiling.
Oh, man alive!
He's changed his body quite a bit in the last few years.
He's pretty close to dunking a basketball. But
I talked about McBride in the weight room and how he's had such a great attitude. But there's his lifting partner right there, Jeremy Dolash, and they're pushing each other and challenging each other every day. And
they spend
making each other better.
Spend a lot of time together.
So a punt coming from Valle, and it'll be
he jumped
Keller.
Okay, as long as it's on Knoxville, then if South Tama's looking at a first down, then all the blue jerseys are clapping.
There it is.
Yep. Okay.
So the movement on Knoxville keeps the drive alive for South Tama.
Looks like Emerson Bridgewater coming into the game. So maybe they heard you, Coach. Maybe they're going to run some score. That would make sense because you put Emerson at a no.
No, Emerson in the shotgun.
He's going to take over this offense for a bit. So Bridgewater in the shotgun, the young Bridgewater. And throws a strike.
Bridgewater's pass was complete.
That must
have been incomplete. Is that Nick Upaw?
Nick Upaw. So some freshmen getting into the action
here.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. Okay. Hey, we'll take that.
Second and 10 now for South Tama on the 32. Some different looks coming in on offense here.
Yeah, so here's the score. Here's what we're talking about. So they're putting Weiss as that. No, that's Dolash, that first fullback. I don't know where Weiss is at.
Yeah, but you got to block him.
Yeah, Cody.
You can't come off. He's coming off the side where you're taking off your tight end. You're taking off your tight end on that side, and you're just moving him back into the backfield. But you got to have somebody out there blocking.
Weiss is getting attended to by Coach Dorn over here on the far sideline.
Yeah, I was wondering about him.
Maybe having some arm stuff going on.
Hopefully it's equipment stuff.
I thought maybe he was carrying his arm just a little bit different that last drive, but he wasn't going to come out of the game, it didn't seem like. Medina breaks the huddle,
And this is the nice thing during the freshman game. Emerson Bridgewater and Nolan Upaw, they're a nice combination. Mm-hmm. They've got a nice combination of leadership freshman, sophomore type deal.
Bridgewater checking his spots.
He's going to step up.
Step up and go.
Okay.
And he's brought down.
Didn't make a bad decision at least, right?
No.
Didn't throw the ball into coverage.
But that brings up fourth down. So another 3 and out likely here.
And Weiss is pacing the sideline. He says, "Where's my helmet? Somebody give me my helmet." Oh.
Yep, there's a little guy.
The young Bly runs it over. Coach Josh Bly's son, little ball boy over there.
And
what number do they have Bridgewater in? Is it 9?
17.
17.
Yep.
17.
Okay.
Okay, here's Valle. He's lining up to punt the ball again.
Fake?
Nope.
Nope.
Keller goes
I don't
back
think you can
deep.
in this spot on the field.
Oh.
Kind of came off it might get a roll though.
That's all right. Get it out of bounds.
Okay.
We'll take it. He's punting right at his average tonight.
27.
Good. Yep. He's got to be. He's a soccer player, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's got a good leg, and he's got a bunch of.
And like I said, when they played Rolling Story, he's the strongest kid in the weight room.
Yeah.
In South Tama.
And that's the nice thing about it is I've noticed with the middle school kids is we got all those kids, soccer players. Mm-hmm. We're developing legs. We're getting punters and kickers.
Speaking of the middle school, I ran the clock for you on your. Coach Cooter was coaching down there back in the 7th grade level, and you guys had a decent amount of kids.
We have a decent amount of kids.
20, looking at 20 some?
We got 29, but unfortunately, 15 of them have never played football before.
Well, you got to start somewhere, right?
Exactly.
That's why we got you down there coaching them up, right?
Kendra Jeanette on the stop in the backfield. Loose ball, maybe. Ryder, the ball carrier for Knoxville.
Young Bear pounced on the ball, but they're saying he was down.
In a weak moment, after climbing a mountain in Colorado, Mr. Bolin got me. Our middle school AD got me in a soft spot. I just didn't want to I wanted to get off the phone. No. We had talked about it earlier in the summer, and he needed an assistant coach, and what the heck. Get the kids, I just teach them the basics.
So Weiss is back in there at cornerback. South Tama kind of in that 3 front, changing it up again.
Oh.
We have a new quarterback in.
This is going to be Connor. No.
Oh, ball comes out.
Brendan Woosley, the quarterback now for Knoxville. We saw him, or Boone, I should say, saw him in week 1, and he was pretty active and tacked on some pretty good passing yards.
Yep. His numbers were slightly worse than Kiefer's, but he had over 100 yards passing.
Not a bad problem to have.
Right. Yeah.
It's a holding call. Flag on the far side of the field against Knoxville, and that will push them back further than they want to be, that's for sure. Close to maybe 2nd and 19. Second and 21.
This is one of those situations where they're almost going to have to pass out of this. And it looks like they're...
I don't think they'll have a problem passing. It's not too much out of their character, is it?
No. But with the new quarterback in there, do you want to take that chance and turning the ball over like that? Because I'm pretty sure they're...
So he's going to step back.
Woosley
nice.
Looking to
what
throw straight up the middle.
Oh, my goodness. That kid's got a cannon.
Through traffic. But
throw that thing on a frozen rope.
Yes, he did. Wow.
He stepped up and winged that thing.
And there was no wobble to it either. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Now they're going to throw it again, right, Coach?
Oh, yeah.
3rd and 21.
You almost have
I want to see him throw it again. I just want to see if he throws a bullet every time.
Well, he had 2 guys open, too. So we could have probably thrown it too hard or it got there too fast for him.
All right, Woosley has trips to the left here. Going to take a couple-step drop, and he slings that thing sidearm.
Right up the middle. Breaks a couple tackles.
Jay Keller on the reception.
And
kind of changed his arm angle on that one, too, didn't it? A little bit. Looks like Patrick Mahomes out there.
Gets him a little more manageable.
Yep. Now you could fake this one from here, maybe. I don't think they will.
I don't think they will.
Not necessary.
That's at the end of the quarter. They're going to get back everybody. They're going to get over there. They're going to punt it. But you know, nothing surprises me with this Knoxville team. They've got to get some. They got to get a little life in there. And then they're going after their first win, so they might try and do anything. You know, they got a long ride home. They could make it go real quick if they were to score here. But it's impressive, and you know, at this point in time in the game, you're looking at a team like South Tama, who's kind of gotten handed to them the last 3 weeks, and I don't see very much quit in this game.
No, and I wasn't down at I wasn't over there at Charles City with Darvin, but just talking to the boys, I didn't get to talk to the coaches too much, but they kind of thought they had made some steps in the right direction.
Exactly.
For sure. No, absolutely.
And even even losing a game like this, they've made a lot of.
Well, they're kind of in it. They were at least they it's kind of getting out of hand a little bit here, but we're kind of in it for a decent amount of the game.
We were in it. We had nice drives. We were moving the ball well. We saw positive things. So they're maybe convincing themselves. I don't know what CPU is going to be like next week, but they can come up with a decent game plan where they can stay in the game. We've always played CPU tough.
Mm-hmm.
Bad part about it is you got to go on the road, which is never a good thing.
Start of the 4th quarter, South Tama trailing 27-0 as Knoxville is going to punt. Here's Max Magana.
Almost gets to it again.
Magana's punt.
Block.
Oh,
almost weighed fair and loose ball in the field. That might be a turnover.
Yep. So South Tama puts the ball on the ground, and kind of like I said not too long ago, that's one of the toughest things to do in football is to catch that ball when it's moving around up there with people running in your face.
Well, what they do at the next level, at the college level, and I know this from experience, is they want you the ball, they want it spinning up in the air, and there's spinning as it's coming down.
Mm-hmm.
So when the guy is looking up, he's worried. He's more worried about getting hit than anything else. And one of the nice things about my son Sam is, he got that hang time up there.
Yeah, he was a heck of a punter.
And it was tough for those guys.
Knoxville with trips to the left. Gosh, Woosley just
little sidewinder there.
Yeah,
wow.
Man, he can throw a ball pretty hard. I mean, I think Kiefer's got a little more accuracy, maybe a little more touch on the ball, but
this kid throws the ball.
He can wing it.
He's like a third baseman.
Yeah, if he don't play third base or shortstop or maybe catcher, there's something wrong there.
2nd and 10 now after the incomplete.
Kind of just stands and wings it over.
Yeah. Knoxville has not scored an offensive touchdown this half.
Right.
Yeah.
2 drives ending in a punt. I guess, I don't know if you would consider this the same drive, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a third. Both third quarters were shutouts for the South Tama defense.
Yep.
Week 1 and 2.
Nice keeper for Woosley. Held his fake. The longer you can hold that ball in the running back's gut, the more deceptive that keep is.
Third down now for Woosley and the Panthers.
It's kind of how all those teams used to run like a veer option. They would hold that ball in the gut as long as they could.
Yeah.
Pull it at the last second.
In teaching your linebackers to follow that ball, if they don't know where it's going to go, you're going to be
3rd and 5 here for the
this
Panthers.
1960s, early 70s.
Sooner or later, you got to commit to one of those guys, right?
Exactly.
Woosley in the shotgun. Trips to his left. He's going to step back and wing one here. He moving to his left, over the top, toward the end zone. No dice.
Incomplete.
And blocker in very good position over there. Gustafson giving chase, but Gustafson's limping a little bit here.
He's
going to be a warrior out there.
Kind of coming up.
They've had a long
Okay,
night.
coach sees it. He's getting number 16 in. That's
somebody in there.
Tanner Large. So another freshman seeing a little.
There's another one who saw a little bit of action in the Frost-Off game.
Yep.
So maybe he's got a quarter left in him, and Coach Dorn's going to get these guys a little bit of experience.
Yep. Tanner listed at 155, but he's going to grow.
Yeah.
He's going to grow a little bit. He's going to keep developing.
4th down situation here for Knoxville.
Woosley again goes to the air. McBride.
Oh,
McBride puts some heat on that. Here we get to call Dolash's name again.
Kyan McBride going up the sidelines.
Come on.
Can he do it?
Come on, brother. Nice job.
Power run up the sidelines for Kyan McBride, the STC captain. Oh, no, that was Jeremy Dolash.
So McBride put the heat on the quarterback, kind of got in his face, and Dolash stepped in and picked the ball off. And
so Jeremy Dolash coming up with the key interception here early into the 4th. Trojans flip the field right on the 20-yard line now.
Let's score a touchdown here, right?
Yeah.
Might as well. Go ahead.
I think Dolash just laid down.
We got somebody down.
I think he's cramped. I think get him some water.
That would be one of those that Coach Court Arians probably just told
He
him
needed
to
to pick
flop.
up, didn't he? Oh yeah.
If you can't catch your breath, just go.
Lay down. We all need a break, right?
Exactly. That's a nice. And that was a heck of a run. And he 2 more steps, he would have broken that thing.
Yeah, he just stepped right in front of it. Good timing. McBride got in there from that defensive end position.
And luckily, the bullet that they threw, Willis threw, didn't hit him right there.
So Jeremy Dolash having a little fun tonight, huh?
Yeah. And it's nice to see him. It's nice to see the hard work pay off. He's got a game. I don't know if,
like you said, he ran cross country a bit.
He ran cross country his
school,
freshman year. I think he ran cross country. He was a dual sport in 8th grade, if I'm not mistaken. Because he's part.
I don't know that he played football as a sophomore. I don't think he did.
He was part of this. He was part of this cross country group that was a good.
Sure.
They had a good nucleus core coming up. So I remember when they were younger.
So Dolash gets a breather on the sideline, and South Tama is going to have to kind of put their offense together here real quick.
And I'm seeing quite a few new bodies in here again. So we've got Emerson Bridgewater, number 17, and Weiss is in there as well. They're saying who's running this? Okay, so they're going to Emerson some reps here, and Weiss is going out to an X receiver. Weiss is taking Dolash's spot out there at the single receiver. So here's Emerson Bridgewater. Get him some playing time at this level. He's looking to his left. Big, tall guy. He steps up and throws a nice ball in there to 8. Is that Upaw?
Nick Upaw.
Yeah, Emerson Bridgewater doesn't have any trouble seeing over that line, does he?
No, he does not.
He'll be all around him.
Man, maybe the tallest quarterback we've had in a good while. I mean, just
I tell you what, he's got an arm. He's got an arm.
Yeah.
I saw him throwing the ball out here a little bit earlier in the day, and he can chuck it.
Well, he's another one of those. He's another one of those. Like his brother is a baseball player.
I think he pitches quite a bit too, doesn't he?
Yeah. And when you're that big and you've got that arm stretch, you can pitch the ball. You feel sorry for the little guy that's standing in the box waiting for you to throw it right at him.
So large sprints off the field. It's got to be fun for assistant coach Jared Bridgewater. He gets the call plays into his son, right?
Yep.
And the ball just out of reach of Kenzie Jeanette.
The intended receiver there, not quite on the money, and that'll bring up 3rd down. 3rd and 4 on the 15. South Tama gets an interception from Jeremy Dolash, and he's still.
Yep, he's going back.
He's getting ready to go.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard if you get close to the goal line. It's going to be hard to say no to him, letting him score that touchdown after the night he's had. He's just kind of basically him and Daniel Weiss have kind of just taken the team and just put it on their shoulders.
Large comes in, Drayton White comes out. Yeah, both those guys have been. McBride, I feel like he's playing well.
Yep. Don't want to leave Kyan out because he's had a great night.
Sometimes those guys that with their hand in the dirt every play don't get the credit. Knoxville with a bunch of guys in the box. Emerson Bridgewater does a nice job of just staying calm
close
and winging
to a first down.
Is that to Weiss?
I think it was.
Okay, yeah, so Weiss has his catch here. Yeah, we're mixing it up here. Good throw by Bridgewater. Stayed pretty poised there.
And it will be a fourth down, so not.
Okay.
Well, hold on
They
now.
call it for no. He had it.
Now we're not quite sure.
Okay. I don't think we're sending Valle back out.
Nope. I thought he
fourth and
waved
short.
it. No, you can't. The way these kids have played tonight, you got to let them put it in their hands.
All right. Bridgewater in the shotgun.
On the 11.
Oh, he's going to sneak it. He's going under center.
There it is.
He's got it.
And Bridgewater
stumbles
into the end zone.
He really slipped through there,
There
didn't
it
he?
is.
First varsity touchdown for Emerson Bridgewater.
Just kind of fell forward on that one.
Yeah. And maybe he's the guy you want leaning forward too, huh?
Well, he's
all
not
6'3" leaning.
Right. Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
He's 190 pounds too, and he's going to keep filling out.
Well, he'll be the bigger of the two.
Oh
the
man!
boys.
Well, he's taller already by a decent amount.
Yeah.
Adrian Valle to line up for the PAT. And it is good. South Tama gets on the board. 27-7 the score. 9:47 on the clock. The door not entirely closed yet, but the Trojans down big. And we'll see what happens here on this next drive.
Got some life breathed into him, didn't they?
Bridgewater scores the touchdown, but that was all set up by Jeremy Dolash stepping in front of that pass and just the interception and the run back. That's pretty good. Now you got a lot of little guys going in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you don't want to play them too much, and you still want them to have success in their frosh season, but get them a couple looks. Who's 25 coming in? I don't see that number on the roster.
It's probably one of those.
I think it might be the Medina kid.
Is it
Medina? I don't know.
Is it Eric Medina? I know he's 10 in the thing, but I'm also thinking. I don't know how I can't. Now I got to think back to the beginning of the game, the frosh game. Kyle Youngbear.
Kyle, okay.
Yeah, he's a player too.
Yeah, I think that's Kyle that just went in, number 28.
Is it?
Yeah, he's wearing 28 because he wore 25 in the.
Okay.
I think Kyle might have wore 25 in the.
He wore. I know he wears 25 in the frosh game. 28. Get those guys in there.
Yeah.
But don't split the group up. Don't just keep them. Keep them steady if they want to play. Next year if you want to start them all.
I hear a lot of good things about Kyle Youngbear out there on the football field.
Man alive, he's a good.
Sounds like he's a tough football player.
He's a good kid.
So here's Valle, first kickoff since halftime, and
boom, get down there.
Puts it down to about the 9-yard line. Youngbear, Kyle Youngbear with the shoestring.
Strips him up.
And he hustles down there. He's pumped up, too. Look at him. Gives a chest bump to his brother,
there
number 70. That's got to be fun.
Hayden Willoughby, the returner, and Knoxville will now start near the 20-yard line at the 22, 21.
Get them excited. Get them pumped up. Get them a little action.
Well, especially them young guys.
Yeah.
Light a fire in them, right?
Yep.
McBride's even down there clapping them on. And
the nice thing about it is, is it's not necessarily having to play these kids like
they're not starting. They're not.
Yeah, we're not
playing
starting.
Too many minutes. They're not getting beat up.
We're not getting chewed up. They're having their success as the freshmen. They're winning as freshmen. They're learning how to win, and which is the hardest thing to do. Sometimes when you have those outstanding freshmen, and they're not on teams and they haven't won yet, they can't lead to do that. And kind of the one thing that Daniel Weiss, I know that he misses is that winning when you're not on a winning team like that, his basketball teams weren't that great, the football teams weren't that great. He hasn't done anything for a couple of years. It's that winning attitude and that winning philosophy that you miss.
I think you learn how to win, and I think it's contagious.
Exactly.
I think sometimes and there's athletes you see in the individual sports, they just know how to win.
Yeah.
If it's close, you can kind of count on them, and they just know how to win.
And that's the biggest part of it is making sure the kids know that we believe in them. Just send them out there. They're working hard. And when you add this, you're going to add this 8th grade bunch that they have. If they all stay out, you're going to have a pretty good nucleus of the team.
And they did well against Vinton the other night.
Yes, they did.
Put it on them.
Yeah, they did.
1st and 10 for the Panthers on the 21.
McBride, Robles, and Mellies across the front.
This ought to be fun.
Oh, here comes Dolash off the edge, and he got there.
He wraps up the ball carrier.
Juan Robles comes rolling over the top. His helmet pops off. But Dolash came in like a rocket sled on rails from the left side.
I don't think that
somebody slowed him down though.
I think I put up his hands to try and stop him and pushed him out of the way, but it wasn't for very much.
Well, I don't think Dolash would have made the tackle. Somebody got in there. Maybe it was McBride or Robles come rolling over the top. You got to come out of the game if your helmet pops off. That's a rule.
2nd and 9 now after the big tackle by Dolash and Robles.
Here comes
Dolash
here
coming
comes
again.
Off the edge again. He's going to make. Oh, the ball's on the ground.
Loose ball.
So
no indication yet.
Coach Dorn just having a little fun out there, blitzing his backside linebacker.
Well, let him do that.
Why not? Put some heat on him.
Yep. Put some heat on him. Put your best athlete out there. He's had a heck of a night. That's why I think you're, send McBride on the other side too.
And Dolash came in as a DN, but they backed him off the line a little bit. And they've had some success there. And I don't know if maybe he's surprising his own coaches right now as well, just a little bit, pleasantly, right?
A little bit of a running start.
Mm-hmm.
3rd and 10 now for the Panthers. Still on the 21.
I'm not mistaken. I think he was the leading rebounder on the basketball team last year, not even a starter.
Yeah, could have been.
I mean, he's just he's one of those tough kids that's just going to
spread look for Woosley. Woosley's still at quarterback there, and he can chuck it. Got some time.
Pressure. Woosley's going to run.
Down.
Gets to the sideline. Scoots out of bounds. Not quite enough for a first down.
Maybe
and there's
there was some jawing or a late hit, or I don't know. We got there early, and he darn near made a great open field tackle. But there's a flag right on the sideline. You can pretty much guess what that is, right?
Right. Yep. This official still conferring here. Don't forget, we've got South Tama volleyball coming your way on Tuesday of this week. South Tama is at home to host the Williamsburg Raiders, so get out and support the Trojans if you're in town. If you can't be there, we'll have the game live for you here on Trojan Country.
They kind of took it to CCA, if I'm not mistaken, is ranked pretty high, number 1 or number 2 in the class on Tuesday night.
They had I don't know that I would say they took it to CCA, but they
played them closer than most.
They
right?
played them close, and I was really impressed with just the effort in the face of a very steep mismatch.
Yeah.
That team did not fold across all 3 sets, and they got beat. But, a lot of good things. A lot of things to be excited about with the volleyball program, for sure.
Took it right at him.
Shotgun to Woosley. He's going to wing it out here. Is that Willoughby, number 14?
Keller, I think.
Keller?
He's had a busy night.
Keller.
Dolash on the tackle again.
So we're still seeing kind of traces of both starting lineups here, still in this one. 2nd and 5 now for the Panthers, right on the 50. Like the hair on that ref out there.
Yeah, it does. Nice
got
mullet.
a nice looking mane.
Mullet. I don't know if those things are ever going to go out of style, are they?
No.
Just keep hanging around.
Nope. Not as long as Dane Melise is an idol. Heck, he's got the best mullet I've ever seen.
All right, here's Woosley, and he's going to keep it. And there
Keeper,
is
Jeanette,
Drew Mellies.
And
I think.
Mellies and Robles. Well, no.
Young Bear's in there.
Young Bear.
Yep. Robles still out there on the field. I'm not seeing Marty Garcia.
He came off a little gimpy.
Is that him sitting on the end of the bench there
I
by
think
Clegg?
so. Yeah.
An ice bag on his shoulder.
Is that his arm or is that just a white?
I guess it's just sleeve.
Long sleeve.
So now 3rd and 5, still on the 50. Well, just inside the 50.
Woosley lines up in the spread.
Receivers on either side.
Chase Ryder in at running back. And Woosley's going to keep it again.
Looking for the corner.
Mellies was right there.
Finds a lane.
Oh, man, Robles running people down.
Just right on
Young
top
Bear
of
on
him.
the tackle. Robles finished it, and he's getting up a little
down hard.
slow.
Young Bear also in on the tackle.
That's what happens when you chase him down from behind.
Oh, man. He had that motor running, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And you like to see that. This late in the game, somebody
100%.
A guy that big
100%.
bounce back up. He wants to play football.
That'll bring up 1st and 10 for Knoxville. Panthers just looking to grind some clock here in the 4th quarter and keep the ball on the ground. They've kept their drive going.
It's pretty smart, and they're doing the same thing that South Tama was doing. They're getting their younger kids in there to see what they can, if they need them in later on in the year, so they got a little experience.
Woosley in the shotgun. And here comes Young Bear on the blitz.
Ryder, the ball carrier, in the backfield, nowhere to go.
Kyan McBride.
McBride getting helped up there by Robles. Good stop there by the captain. 2nd and 13 after the tackle for a loss for Knoxville.
So McBride, Robles, and Mellies across the front. Linebacking crew looks to be Dolash, Medina, Young Bear, Jeanette. Nick Upaw getting some minutes in the defensive backfield, playing one of the safety positions.
On the 47-yard line, Woosley and the Panthers trying to keep this one going.
Here comes Medina on the stunt.
Yep. Just had to fall on the
Pop
ball.
loose.
But that split-ended motion, and it just kind of, I think they just snapped it a little too soon. Hit the quarterback right in the helmet.
Yep. Robinson fell on it.
3rd and 15, or 16, 17. There we go.
Get a stop here. Knoxville will be punting the ball away.
And so South Tama's offense looking to get back on the field here.
And Knoxville's punted on darn near every drive here in the second half.
Yes, they have.
Plenty of positive things to pull out of this game film, I think, for South Tama. And the tough thing is that the matchups get so much harder in the second half of the year. Be interesting to see how Fairfield kind of pulls their season together and what kind of team they're going to turn into. But you look at Williamsburg, just took it to Xavier Catholic last week. I don't even want to think about what that team's. They got a kid that's going to Iowa next year, and that's going to be a tough week for anybody that sees Williamsburg this year. They're coming off of a state championship trip, and
they just got older. They got better, and I don't know if you can how it calculates. They just got faster, and I can't see how they can consistently get kids that are just. They just got to go. They just got to go out.
They've always got horses in the stables, don't they?
Life and everything.
NFL kids.
It's
yeah.
It's a big. It's just the community is just one of those things. You know. You talk about your colleges having a great atmosphere and a great tradition and all that stuff. And Williamsburg football is just they've always been for 30 years since the coaches are down there and it's a consistent program and they're all just bringing things in and you got a couple of NFL guys down there and
might be the same thing. It might be the same thing across the board, regardless of sport. At least on the boys' side.
Yeah.
Their head wrestling coach, Grant Eckenrod, heck of a coach. He's got like 500 dual wins.
Yeah.
Just fill a lineup every year.
Here's Woosley from the shotgun.
Jeanette on the stunt. Somebody needs to make an open field tackle. Yep. Robinson on the catch.
Ryland Robinson, after a couple of drops in the first half, nice catch there to keep the Panthers drive going here in the fourth quarter as they're trying to just kind of salt this thing away. And with under 4 minutes to go, it's really not much time left for South Tama.
You'd like to move them forward, get your Gavin Bridgewater back. I see Marty Garcia over there on the bench, Tyrus Clegg.
Yeah. That's going to be the thing for South Tama is can they keep their bodies healthy and available and
maybe
that
Melly's.
Yeah.
Getting excited out there.
Drew just came across the line and he hit the guy. He didn't have a chance to get back. Got a little excited. But the thing about it is, take a look at it, and if you're going to bring up some of those kids that have already played some football, your 18 all of a sudden turns to 25 or 26.
Right.
And you've got some options.
Yeah.
But it's not like we have anywhere to go. You lose Gavin Bridgewater, who's obviously is going to be your star, your stud, and I don't know if he's where he's going to go to school next year, but he'll be missed. But you'll have that
last
experience.
Saturday he got to go right down on the field at Iowa.
That's what I heard.
University of Iowa. He was on a visit, a preferred visit or whatever it was, and got to hang out with the team. And said he met Dallas Clark and was right down there on the field. He said it was pretty neat deal.
Kobe Higginbotham on the catch there. We haven't called his number in a little while. As the Panthers just continue their march down the field.
And that's one of the exciting things. You know about this, Coach. You were in it. One of the most exciting things for a kid is that recruiting process.
Yeah.
Is having everybody. I mean, they're falling all over you down there.
So many unknowns. And
it's get himself healthy. I don't know if he decided if he wants to play football or wrestle in college or.
I think his first love's football for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know he talked about baseball for a while there, but it just kind of.
I think he loves football.
Yeah,
Second down and 8 now for the Panthers, well into South Tama territory.
Now they're just looking to run out the clock. They're not looking to embarrass anybody. They don't want to score again. It's just going to be.
That's classy, right?
It's going to be one of those things, and that's one of the things you got to like high school football. That's one of the things that we always talked about whenever we went over to Xavier or something like that. They knew they were going to win.
Woosley flings it out there to.
Incomplete pass intended for Connor Willis.
In this point in time, Knoxville, Coach Duncan knows that he's going to win the game, so he's not going to embarrass anybody. He's just going to get it off. One of the classiest things I saw at South Tama a few years ago, we went over to Xavier, and I know that talking to Reggie Schulte, he earlier in the week, he was up at UNI with my son, and he said, we're going to go down and we're going to do this, and they're going to run. They ran 15 plays. They put the starters in for 15 plays. They knew they were going to win the game. And it's just a class act. We're not going to be doing this. And we've learned from past experience what goes around comes around, so you got to be careful.
Yep.
Because we could be so much better than them next year. You run up the score once and embarrass them.
Woosley to throw across the middle.
Who's it?
And he's got number 16 across the middle.
Max Magana coming away with the capture there.
And that's just about going to do it there. I think, what do we go continuous clock?
Continuous clock at 35.
35, so we may not.
So if they get the 2-point conversion here, which they're not going to.
No, they're going for.
Good for them.
They're going to work on their PATs, right?
Willis to kick the PAT. He's had a pretty big night tonight.
Line drive punches it through.
34-7 the score now as we get into the final 2 minutes of play here at Trojan Field. Marching band making their way onto the track and the student section heading to the tunnel.
Weiss kind of icing the shoulder a little bit, and I was kind of looking. I know Chase Gustafson was.
He was a little gimpy.
A little. I didn't see if he came back in the game.
I don't know. Is that Marty sitting out with his?
That's Marty.
Hand in the bag in the elbow.
Oh, okay.
The ice bag.
Yeah,
I don't know if it is or it is or not.
75, yeah.
But and that's, as beat up as they are, that's a testament to Kai McBride and Dolash and Jeremy Dolash. It's impressive that they're still out there giving 110% effort. Coach Dorner probably gave them the option, and
Well, you only
they want to play.
As a senior, you only get so many of these nights, right? With your buddies and on the Trojan field here, there's not too many more.
And when this goes away, you miss it so bad.
Oh yeah.
Because these guys they're superstars in town.
Jeanette and Blocker will go back for one more kickoff return.
I'd like to see something happen here.
It's a little squib.
We're going to kick it short. Just run up.
Jeanette's going to hustle up and grab it.
Look at this. Watch this.
Look at the little move. And then stiff arm.
Stiff arm.
Jeanette's trying to make something happen.
Oh, careful. Yeah, you don't want to pop up and open your mouth.
One more look here for the South Tama offense. Emerson Bridgewater under center here in the second half. Weiss getting some ice on the shoulder, and it was Bridgewater with a shoulder earlier last week, and gosh, we don't want to lose another one.
Weiss will probably be back in there next week, and there's no point in playing him in his last couple minutes here, right? Garcia hopefully be back as well.
Boy, hello.
Sometimes you get a different quarterback, and their cadences are just a little bit different than what you're used to.
That'll march back South Tama after the false start.
That's the second, and that's another thing. You talk about tough positions to play as a backup quarterback, as a freshman.
You're not in the flow. You come in cold.
Yep.
I didn't see him taking snaps on the sideline either and tossing the ball around.
But he's ready. I mean, look at this.
Look at the ball, though. Look at the ball he throws.
Looking for Dolash.
That's a nice.
Just
that was
over
a nice.
the outstretched hands.
There in the pocket. He's pretty cool. Pretty cool cat.
Well, look at him. For crying out loud, he's bigger than the lineman coming after him.
And you look at him, he looks kind of pretty. He is 190 pounds, though. He's tall, and he's going to grow. He's going to be a good one.
Yeah,
he's going to be a good one.
He just looks. He's got that calm. Like he's like one of those California guys from the movie. He just comes in, and everybody. For some reason, everybody's just got a calm about him when he comes in there.
I talked to Mr. Bullen at the middle school AD, and he spoke highly of Emerson. He said he's one of those kids that can just kind of take over a game and lead, and he's smart. He plays the game well.
Kinzer Jeanette, nice job.
Catches a short pass and extends it out to the 45.
He's got a
little cramped
calf. Coach Doran's going to work on him a little bit. He's massaged the calf a bit.
Yeah, he is. He's one of those. Well, actually, the thing about it is he's got to make a choice because he could be an excellent basketball player, and excellent wrestler.
Yeah, and that's what Bullen said. He said he can take over a basketball game. And he knows how to win. He knows how to play the game, strategy-wise, and he could be a heck of a wrestler too with that height, at that weight. Probably be good at whatever he chooses to do.
Yep.
3rd and 4 for the Trojans. On the 43, minute left to go.
Dolash over there. Dolash
catches it at the 50.
He's not going to give
Pushes it out to the 45.
Just add to his total.
And who's over there to help him up right away? Gavin Bridgewater.
Yeah, Bridgewater's been all over the sideline tonight, talking to people, and
I'm glad he's still invested in that game.
Yeah.
It looks good on him to do that.
Yeah. Well, and you've got, who knows shows up to watch you.
Right.
And what they're watching for.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. We've had enough athletes where you've come through here where if somebody's looking at
them.
a
nice ball out to Blocker too.
They can always watch film on your They can always watch film on your game.
They might want to know what type of student you are, what type of a teammate you are, what type of a leader you are.
Not much off the clock there, and that'll still at 59 seconds.
And sometimes you've seen those lower level assistant coaches come in and just start talking to people.
Yeah.
Not even the parents. Talk to teachers and sit down with the principal and just say what kind of kid you got here, because a lot of this is these days it's character.
Bridgewater again looking over the middle.
Good ball over the middle.
That was Nick
catch.
Upaw dragging one out of the air.
Talking about a freshman coming and getting one over the middle.
Yeah.
Third and now 2, long 2 on the 38.
He got tackled in the middle of the field, so that clock's going to continue to run down under 30 seconds here.
Upaw's got to look to him like his brother does. He can catch anything as long as it's near him.
Sneak for Bridgewater.
Yeah, that's going to probably do it.
Yeah, the young Nick's a good-looking athlete.
Yeah.
He tore his ACL last year and a meniscus issue too, so I didn't get to see much of him.
And you look, it's when Nolan got in the game, he was a game changer too. You get a quarterback that can get him the ball, he can catch it.
Yeah, he had a good
across
senior
the
season,
middle,
didn't
and
he?
this is what you want to do going into next year, because those guys hooked up. I think they hooked up for 2 touchdowns in the freshman game, or maybe 1 touchdown in the freshman game, and it looked like they've been playing together since they were, since they were young.
Well, they have probably, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they played on different teams last year.
Yep. No, I get you 100%.
But and that's a testament to how hard these guys are going to work. They're not going to be.
Some of these guys are going to be a little bit sore in the morning. I think Kyan McBride's going to be.
Yes.
Yep.
Going to be feeling it.
Yep.
We didn't see a lot of that last week. It just, the injury timeouts or the cramp work and such really wasn't a part of much of this Charles City game. We get back to Tama, and Amanda Heck's on the sideline busy all night. Coaches are helping out too.
So with 10 seconds left in the game, Coach Doran calls a timeout on behalf of
they're going to score.
Coach Bridgewater. 4th and 2. The boys say we want to keep playing football a little bit, so let's get another play in.
This is going to be a pass play. Jeremy Dolash. They want him to take it to the house.
He's just stretching out his legs.
Yeah, he is. Man.
I'm telling you.
Gonna need that ice bath.
Coach Bridgewater's pounding on his shoulder pad. He's got him out there as a receiver. He's stretching out his legs. There he goes. He's getting in the blocks.
10 seconds on the clock here. South Tama dialing one more up.
If Knoxville doesn't know where this goes, they just have to ask the South Tama fans.
Who we got in the backfield there? Who's that, Grape? I don't know who that is.
Can't be Gray Bill. It's Young Bear.
Kyle.
Oh, there it is on the other side. But he was open. Dolash was open, expecting the ball.
So Young Bear takes a licking back there. He was trying to step up and take on a stunting linebacker.
They'll turn it over on 4th, and that will do it here. 5 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, they're going to kneel the ball, I hope.
Just going to kneel the ball and head back down to Marion County.
They're going to go out for one. They're going to come out for one last
God,
kneel.
They sent that blitz hard.
Yes, they did.
Kyle Youngbear got smacked there. Welcome to the
varsity level.
Yeah.
Final score tonight will be 34-7. Knoxville gets their first win of the season after a pair of heartbreaking 1-point losses. And South Tama still looking for answers here. They move to 0-3 next week. For the Trojans, it'll be CPU over in Center Point. We'll be live for that one, of course, and excited to be with the Trojans for another week here. Plenty of football yet to go this season. And the final score from Trojan Field, South Tama 34, Knoxville 7. We'll be back after a short break. Thanks for being with us. Welcome back live into the Trojan Country postgame report. South Tama takes the loss tonight here, 34-7 against Knoxville to get their first win of the season. South Tama falls to 0-3. Give it over to George here if you can give us some postgame stats.
There you go, very unofficial stats. The rushing department, Kiefer for Knoxville had 4 rushes for 18 yards. Willoughby had 8 rushes for 40 yards. Didn't see much action after that. They just kind of started a little razzle-dazzle. Caden Willoughby had 2 rushes for a total of 1 yard. Keller had 1 rush for 2 yards. Higginbotham had 1 rush for -2 yards. Woosley brought him in a quarterback, had played most of the fourth quarter. He had 5 rushes for 16 yards. Ryder -2 yards. Robinson 1 rush for -1 yards. Passing department, Kiefer had a very good night. Woosley also had a pretty good night too. Kiefer was 4 for 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 for 9 with 122 passing yards. Woosley had 4 completions for 60 yards. On the receiving department, that's where pretty much Knoxville did all of its damage. You can see over there, Keller had 2 catches for 16 yards. Nana had 2 catches for 60 yards. Higginbotham had 4 catches for 49 yards. Willis had 1 catch for 26 yards. Same with Hayden Willoughby. He had 1 catch for 1 yard, and Robinson had 1 catch for 11 yards. The damage was done in the passing game with Knoxville tonight. They had scoring drives of 46, 26, and 14 passing yards, all in the first half. The only score for Knoxville in the second half was a TD by Bircher. He ran it back for a interception for a touchdown that got them their 27 points. On the South Tama side, the highlights, there's a lot of highlights for the South Tama here.
Absolutely.
Daniel Weiss, 9 rushes for 24 yards. Odie Blocker finally on the positive side for his rushing yards, 6 rushes for 7 yards. Some of those, we just had a little bit of trouble getting him on the outside. And when you have trouble getting him on the outside, but everything he ran to the outside, he ran himself back from a deficit to a positive with some pretty good runs on those sweeps. Jared Bridgewater. Emerson Bridgewater came in. He did the little mop-up duty at quarterback. He had 2 rushes for 11 yards. Daniel Weiss, he was 8 for 10 with 68 yards passing. And Emerson Bridgewater had 4 completions. He was 4 for 6 with 45 yards. Jeremy Dolash, he had a heck of a night tonight. He had a really great night. Aside from his 68 yards and 7 passing attempts, he had an interception and a huge return that set up South Tama's only touchdown of the night. And we were kind of joking around, but that would have been nice if we could have gotten him close to the goal line and got into the end zone for a score before time ran out. Tyrus Clegg, before he got hurt, 2 receptions for 10 yards. Kinzer Dennett had 2 receptions for 25 yards. Shannon Graybill, 1 reception for 5 yards. Nice to see him get some varsity action tonight. Chase Gustafson had one for 3 yards, 1 catch for 3 yards. Nick Upaw came in, 3 catches for 18 yards, and Matt Weiss came in and a little mop-up duty there, playing a little tight end. He had 1 catch for 3 yards. Our only touchdown, highlight of the night, Emerson Bridgewater falling forward for 11-yard touchdown. So he scored tonight. We got some action tonight. You got to see what was going on. Hopefully his brother is better next week for CPU. But this South Tama team just has to make forward progress. And we just have to keep moving forward with everything that we've got. Jeremy Dolash stepping up, Kinzer Dennett standing up, Daniel Weiss stepping up. I think things are going to look pretty good for next week.
The attitudes really felt in a good place.
Yes.
And you have to love that going forward. You hope the bodies and the health can follow along. And final thoughts from you, Nate?
I think it was kind of the tale of 2 halves. I think Knoxville had 3 possessions in the first half, and they scored a touchdown through the air on each one of them. And I think just 1 drive resulted in a touchdown in the second half, which was right at the end there. They did have the defensive touchdown there. So I think I like the way Coach Doran was kind of mixing up defenses, maybe went to a 3 front there. And then defensively, we talked about Kyan McBride playing his heart out, and once again, Dolash, and he would have had a great game without the long interception return. He was already having a heck of a game, and he was catching the ball over the middle. And then Kinzer Jeanette defensively coming from that linebacker position. Those are kind of the three that kind of impressed me the most. But Jacob Youngbear plays hard, and Robles stuck his nose in there tonight too. So I thought the defense played pretty darn good. The second half, and especially that third quarter. And I think maybe we're kind of a third quarter team, but then again, we were moving the ball in the first quarter on the first drive. So I think we're taking steps forward.
So thanks to all of our sponsors who put us on the air this evening, and I'd like to encourage all of our South Tama Trojan community to get out and cheer on the Trojans this week. A busy week at both the high school and middle school level. Some highlights on the high school side. Got cross country running their home meet at 4:30. Here at the high school on Monday. On Tuesday, another home game. It'll be the varsity volleyball team, while all levels playing against Williamsburg on Tuesday. We'll have that coverage live for you here on Trojan Country. And then on Friday, it's the football team traveling up to Center Point Urbana to take on the Storm and Pointers in week 4 of the football season. We'll also have that live for you here on Trojan Country. Make sure to subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube, and so you can stay kind of tuned in to what we're doing and get notified if we go live for different things. And really appreciate that. So thanks, guys, for the being with us here this evening, and we will see you down the road. Thanks a lot, Trojan fans.